Welcome everybody, welcome back to another episode of That Is Scuffed Up. My name is Justin Lee here with my partner Stephen Hayden. We are here on episode 46, concluding the spring 2024 season. It is finally finished after multiple delays and whatnot. We are here to tell you the news of who's won the entire playoffs, and we've also got the award winners to share today. And if you stick around later on in the episode, changing it up a little bit as we get into the summer season. But before we can do that, we got to talk about what happened at the conclusion of the spring 2024 season. Another one in the bag. Stephen Hayden, my partner over here. How are we doing today, sir?
We're doing all right over here. I know there's been a lot of changes, a lot of different things, a lot of different scenarios in the league. We didn't do a podcast last week because we still had a World Series to play, which involved us, as we'll talk about later on. But things do feel a little bit different overall. I mean, I'm near the end of my baseball season. Things feel different. When's the last time we lost the World Series? Never. But things just feel a little bit different today. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, or it's good for the future, or not good for the future. It's interesting to see how things are going to be continuing on here, not with just with us at the podcast, but other stuff. But I mean, we're here. Things have officially wrapped up for the spring season, and even though some of the teams have started their summer season already, we're officially set with the summer season, and a lot of other football is now popping up and getting started.
That's right. That's some of the things that we're going to be talking about later on in the future as we get closer to those. We've got a preview of what those will look like. Obviously, the US and the SoCal tournaments are obviously a big detail in what's happening in the wiffle ball world, which we'll probably eventually get to when we get into the future episodes and how the way we're going to be doing things. But that's just a little teaser for you guys in particular. But like you said, yeah, it does feel a little different, aside from the fact that, we're not back-to-back World Series champs again. And, if you didn't hear the news, then, I don't know, maybe you don't follow the OC Wiffle Ball Instagram page or whatnot.
Living under a rock.
Yeah, literally. I don't know how you not know this stuff yet. It's kind of big news right now, but, if you're getting news from us, great. We love it. We love the viewership. Always enjoy having and appreciating everybody who's able to tune in and listen to two idiots talk about wiffle ball the entire time. So,
one idiot in myself.
According to you, the Make-A-Wish kid. But anyways,
That'll be you'll see that later in the podcast.
Yeah, you will. If I leave it in there. Anyways, like you said, things feel a little bit different in terms of, and right, like it brings a new challenge every single day when you get to face something different instead of something the same. So, here we go. We obviously made our predictions last episode. If you haven't seen that, go check out episode 45 where we made all of our predictions. We're watching as Steven is once again undefeated in those predictions. We'll check in on that in just a second.
Yeah, we'll just say one of us did a lot better than the other.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that in a sec. But let's start touching on these games. We got a lot of guests we got to put on here. We're gonna have Will Cantrell to start off with the Purple League. We're gonna have Don LeCompte later in the show, and then we'll finish out the day with Blake Fitzgerald, who's joining us for the Division I World Series recap. Let's begin off with the Purple League and discuss what they look like right now. Obviously, we don't really talk too much about the Purple League because they are just not so serious, here for fun type of league. So we don't really follow too much about what's happening in there, but we like to talk about them in particular because they are still part of the league. Let's get into it. Let's deep dive into Purple League. We got the Beach City Babes taking on the Pancake Batters. This is the series that basically came down to it on Tuesday because we didn't have a semifinal, so to speak, on a Monday, so only the Purple League had their games on a Tuesday, and this was actually kind of pretty much a fight between these two teams. We kind of saw a glimpse of it on the Tuesday. We'll talk about the reason why we were watching it on that Tuesday anyways, because there was kind of a weird way the Division I playoffs kind of went down and so forth. So once we get to the Division I stuff, we'll talk a little bit more in detail of what happened there. But it looks like the first game, and actually all three games were pretty close in particular with these games. Anything you want to touch on in particular?
All three of these were two well-matched teams for the Purple League. Uh, on the series overall in the year, the Beach City Babes defeated Pancake Batters 3 times and lost twice. So that was the series overall. It's 3-2 in favor of the Beach City Babes. But I mean, I mean, you never know what may happen in the Purple League. We saw Pancake Batters come out to a first victory in game one, 14-12, and then Beach City Babes came back, bounced back in game two, 10-8. We had another close game at the end in game three. I'm not exactly sure on the score of that. Maybe will give us that once we get into him. But overall, I mean, these two teams have seen each other so much and over the seasons and things like that. I mean, good amount of offense we like to see, and it seemed like a good amount of fun both teams were having. I know Beach City Babes were a little bit frustrated with that first game, um, and I know they were even telling guys like Jordan Dresser like not to come at all, but just in case we had to come, we'll explain that a little when we talk about D1 and things like that. But overall, pretty close series between these two teams. But Beach City Babes come out back-to-back champs of the Purple League.
That's right. Coming off of a Purple League win from last year against the Grizzly Gladiators, they get their second title in their history. Obviously, it's not a Division One World Series win. You know, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of members of that team that's gotten the World Series title back in the summer of 2023. But it must be nice. And we have Will Cantrell here joining us on the show. Tyler could not join us because he, unfortunately, we had some different circumstances.
Will.
Yeah,
Because we asked Will, not Tyler.
Yeah. Maybe in the future we'll have Charlie come on the show. I think he'd be a nice one to have on here. But we got Will Control for you guys. Yeah, we are. Love the banter on that team for sure. You know, they like to make fun of that guy a lot. But he's definitely an asset to that team for sure. But without further ado, let's do this without any delay. Let's get Will Control in here. He's joining us here for the Purple League. All right, our first guest of the day is joining us here on the That's Scuffed podcast. We have Will Cantrell here, a member of the Beach City Babes and the Beach City Bombers themselves, longtime player and teammate of Tyler Moore, is joining us here as the reigning player of the year for the Purple League, and also their team also won in the Purple League as well this season. So must have been nice, I believe, second time in a row. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, back to back.
Back to back. All right, we got a lot of back to back guests coming on here today. We got Whoosh coming on later. I mean, the Trash Pandas aren't back to back because they just won theirs, but we'll talk about that later. But Will, how are you doing? Welcome to the show. How's it been hanging since you guys won that game?
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, doing well. It was really fun. I had a great season. So I won the Player of the Year for the Winter League, which was our first championship, and then Tyler Moore won Player of the Year this last season for the spring season, and also helped lead us to our back-to-back championships. So, yeah, it's been a bunch of fun. I love doing the Purple League. It's something different than like D1, as you guys know. Those games are hard battles, back and forth, a lot of mental and physical fatigue. Purple League is just a fun kind of relaxing, good environment. All the teams are super chill, and we just like to go out there and play wiffle ball. Have a good time.
I feel like that's kind of the underlying theme of why we even have that league in the first place. We could probably talk about the Division 1 stuff later because that's a big topic. But obviously the Purple League is definitely a lot more relaxed, a lot more fun, laid back. Obviously you get to play with your wife and get to play with some other people who usually you guys won't see in Division 1 play. But you guys kind of just go out there, have fun. I know you and Tyler had a little like rivalry going on with each other, trying to hit whatever the most hits or home runs or whatever.
Yeah.
So you had the best of last season, I guess, and now he's got this one. So would you say it's 1-1 right now, and then you guys are going to try to go for each other again this season?
Yeah, well, yeah, 1-1 right now. Technically he did beat me in amount of home runs. It was some controversy in the last game of the season, but I think I fell one short of him. But overall, still had I think a pretty good season. And then last season he was hitting 700. Yeah, like a crazy year. I don't think he. Let's see how many home runs he had. He had 15 home runs. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was crushing it this season. But yeah, he's actually done with the Purple League this year. He
Oh,
couldn't commit to it and is focusing on our D1 team. So it's just going to be kind of losing. We haven't found a replacement for him yet, but I like the squad that we're rolling out, so we'll be good. It was kind of started with Tyler, myself, and Charlie from our Bombers team. We kind of wanted to try Purple League, and my wife Shannon was playing a little bit of D1 with us as well, kind of coming in and subbing, and she enjoyed it, but kind of wanted a little bit more relaxed environment and to bring some other people in. So we decided to jump on into the Purple League once Anthony started that, and so now it's with her. My sister-in-law is also playing with us, which is super fun for them to get together. And then one of my coworkers, April, is playing as well. So it's a good time. We enjoy it.
yeah. You get some random people that you typically, don't bring up too often. Like you said, your coworkers. We've had a couple guests mention that there's a lot of coworkers that they play with. So it's a different environment for sure. But I guess it's not a Division 1 title per se, but it is pretty sweet to at least get something. Right? Back to back Purple League championships. Obviously, you could say like that championship game or the World Series games last season was like super competitive, and everyone, it kind of felt like it was like a Division 1 game between the two teams. It was between your team and Joey Ponder's team and the Glizzy Gladiators, and we had a couple casualties in terms of buckets and all that stuff. So I guess you could say that. So it can definitely turn up in a second if that's the direction it goes. But I mean,
Yeah.
it must feel great to at least have something to put on the shelf, I guess.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's been a blast in that way. Like they do get competitive. You mentioned the bucket. There's a clipboard that was victim of my knee this season as well. So I mean, it can get a little bit competitive out there. We're all trying to, at the end of the day, it's all about fun, but you do want to win. That is kind of the why play if you're not going to try to win. And we enjoy it. Yeah, so it can be very competitive. The Glizzy Gladiator series went 3 games, back and forth, really tight, close games. And then same with this spring season against the Pancake Batters. They put up a really big fight as well. Same thing, went to 3 games. They got us in the first game, and then we were able to win the next 2. But back and forth, man. I mean, they're a great team as well. We faced, with only having 3 teams in the Purple League during the spring season, we faced them, I think, like 6 or 7 times. So we had seen them a ton during the year. And sure enough, we kind of like split the series with them during the season. So we knew it was going to be competitive going into the World Series, and just happy that we came out on top both times.
Yeah, and I mean, talked about how great the Pancake Batters. They obviously have a back-to-back female player of the year in Katie Shinrock. They've got Adrian Garcia, who's probably had like really good numbers in terms of hitting wise, and then Chad French is another name that's been kind of coming about. We've mentioned it a bunch of times. Same amount of home runs as Tyler Moore, actually, kind of crazy enough.
Yeah, yeah. Chad has a sweet swing, man. He'll just like all of a sudden like get inside the ball and just blast them. And his home runs are true home runs, man. Those are crushed for sure. Yeah, and like you mentioned, Katie. I mean, she's gotten me so many times, either strikeout or just weak little ground balls. I mean, she's a really good pitcher. She definitely is probably the bulk of their pitching as her, and she can swing it as well. So they're a really tough team, up and
Yeah.
down.
That's definitely true. I think a lot of teams that we've seen in the past with the Purple League, ever since we added it, we've seen a couple of competitive people with, we talked about the Glizzy Gladiators for per se, like that was another team where like, oh, these guys are gonna go get something, and then you guys took that away last season, which was crazy, hearing that news. But I want to turn it to Steven though, because I know he's also got some questions. So go ahead, Steven, what you got?
Yes, good to have you. Good to have you on here. First time for you being on here. We've had, obviously, as we mentioned, I've had your teammate Tyler Moore here on a couple times. It's good to have you on. Looking at the difference kind of between D1 and Purple League. And I know you talked about it a little bit, but what is? I mean, do you see anything you think could be
from Purple League that could be put into D1, or what kind of things do you like playing about with the Purple League versus versus the D1 or D1 better than Purple League, stuff like that.
All right, yeah. So I would say the main difference between D1 and purple is the pitch speed, right? So it's a 55 mile per hour different. It's max versus 62 in D1. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but once you're kind of in the batter's box and standing there, it's a pretty big difference. So that kind of evens the playing field a little bit because I mean, as you know, Charlie and Tyler both really good pitchers in D1, and then in the Purple League they're kind of pitching well too, but they have a high ERA because it's a lot easier to kind of tee off on someone going 55 versus 62, even with changing speeds and movement and stuff like that. Everyone's a really good hitter in Purple League, which makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And then I like the fun thing that we do, if you're up by 10 runs or something like that, you have to either swing one-handed or you do your opposite side. So if I'm a lefty, I hit righty when we're up by 10 or something like that. So that just brings in that added element and fun thing to do in the Purple League. And a lot of times when you're up by 10 runs and you do that and you switch over, you're not up by 10 for much longer because the other team has a chance to come back. So it makes it for a really fun, loose atmosphere, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good contrast between both of them as well. I mean, D1 it's not the most serious thing in the world, but in certain games it can get pretty serious. As it can get a little more intense, as we'll talk on a little later on. But I'll take it back to the beginning for you for a second here. So you first joined the league in the summer 2023, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so this will be starting now. Will be like a full year of doing football. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. I mean, how did you find out about the league? I mean, was it a thing where you knew guys before and then you came in, or was it just like a free agent and you just came in? How did that all come to happen?
Yeah, so I was actually playing slow pitch softball, and was at one of the fields down in Tustin and saw Justin's cute face up there and on the poster, and I was like, huh, what is this? Wiffle ball. I like wiffle ball. So I scanned it, looked up at the league, and joined as a free agent, and was lucky enough to join the Bombers first go around. And we had a team, as you guys know, of free agents pretty much. I mean, it was Tyler, it was Luke, and it was Charlie. They were all returners, and then the rest of us were all new. And able to run it, that first season, I was like, oh, I can get used to this. Let's keep going with that,
Yeah.
So that's how I joined, was a free agency, and just got really lucky with the team. Got plugged in. I think if I was on, another team, I don't think I would have stuck with it as much. But I really enjoyed the guys. Really enjoyed winning and having a good time, and knew that this was something that I could do to get that competitive itch, that we've been lacking, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, glad to see Justin is actually bringing people in instead of driving people away for once. That's always a good thing to see.
What are you trying to say?
I think he was being very generous when he said a cute face up there, but
yeah.
Oh man, you went into it obviously with that summer 2023 season. It was the last season before we split up into these divisions and before the Purple League as well. You had a very great hitting season, if I remember correctly. You had guys like you, Ryder Johnston. You had Tyler Moore and Zach Moore leading the way pitching and doing great things hitting wise as well. You guys ended up with that 2 seed, only losing twice. I mean, it's not a bad thing to lose twice to the only undefeated team in the league in the Purple Hus in the Purple. Yeah, it was the Purple Huskies.
Yeah, the Huskies. Mm-hmm.
I get those two teams mixed up, the MS Warriors and Purple Huskies, sometimes, because those are not their original names, but anyways, you guys lost. You guys did lose to them twice, but that was your only losses. I remember you guys handed us our first loss, very first game of the season. And I was like, okay, this is a much different Beach City team than I remember, because actually we didn't play the Beach City in the spring season. There's a limited amount of games, once again, due to the rain, as we often see during the spring season. And then you guys had a great run to get into that World Series. Coming into the league like that, and then kind of win that World Series like that. Did you kind of did you expect to for your future seasons to kind of be like that, or like what was your thoughts about the league and OC football after that first season?
Yeah, so my I think I kind of underestimated the league when I first came in, if that makes sense. Because I knew like a little bit about wiffle ball and things like that. You know, you watch the MLW online and
Yep.
things like that. And I was like, oh, there's no running. Oh, okay, I'll be good. You know, that's fine. That's cool with me. You know, and then like little things like that. And I was like, oh, okay, like 62 or whatever. I think it was like 63 at
Yep.
that time. I was like, oh, that's not that bad. Like I've faced a lot harder. You know, whatever. We're good. And then I remember the first game playing you guys, and Jordan was on your team, and lefty lefty matchup,
Yep.
and he threw his first slider to me, and I was like, I didn't see that at all. Like I didn't see it. I didn't know where it went. I was just glad that it didn't hit the strike zone. So like I think I almost led the league in walks my first season, and it wasn't because of how good my eye was. It was because I couldn't see it at all, and was just hoping that it wasn't going to be a strike, which resulted in a lot of walks, which was great. But no, I've gotten obviously know what to expect now, you know, and gotten a little bit better with hitting and things like that. But it was a fun experience for that to be my first season, was winning the World Series. And again, a good group of guys, bolstered up a lot by, you know, Tyler and Zach having really great seasons that year, and Ryder crushing it whenever he was there. So we had a fun year, and then it kind of settled back down after that. But I mean, we've been to playoffs. We've had really good battles the last couple of years, so it's been fun. And I think the league as a whole has gotten better since that first season that I played. Even though we lost some teams, added some teams, things like that, but the D1 is really good all the way around. I think it's pretty even. Any team can win it in a year, I feel like, because you just get a couple weeks of being hot and you can run away with it. So
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when even though you guys have the D1 team hasn't won the World Series since then, you guys have continued to get better. We've seen the growth of the Trash Pandas with them getting better. LA Wolf was a little questionable, but who cares about them? You've got other teams we've seen the Avocarbos improve and get better. Whoosh obviously has won back to back, so it's good. I mean, and plus people are out there enjoying it as well. They're having a good time out there, but. I mean, you guys have had some tough luck. You guys have got knocked out in the previous two seasons by the fall and the winter season by two of the two teams that both made it. One won the World Series and the other made it to the World Series. And then there was also news about Zach not being around. Obviously, he wasn't around for that fall and that winter season mainly. So you guys were looking for a new guy. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier. How much did you know about the whole Jordan Dressler switching teams over to come join you guys?
I really didn't know much, to be honest with you. I know there was Tyler, I think at the end of the year, was mentioning something, but it wasn't anything concrete, right? It was just like, oh, okay, so Zach's not playing. It's like, oh, that sucks. He's like, it's all right. I think I have someone in mind or whatever. It's like, oh, all right, sounds good, you know. And then he kind of told us as it was getting a little bit more solidified of what was happening, which was exciting. You know, I liked facing against Jordan, but I like him a lot better now that he's on our team and I don't have to face him. He's like the only other lefty, you know, true lefty on our in our league. You know, all the fake lefties that like to bat left-handed but throw a righty. I don't consider them left-handed people. And so it's he's the true lefty, and it's nice that I don't have to face him anymore. And he's on our team. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is a nice thing. And then, for this previous spring season, you guys obviously did have a pretty nice spring season. I think based off the way I was looking at the beginning of this season, it was really two teams were kind of separating themselves, and then I think you guys had a couple surprising losses during the season. You guys lost that OC Wolf was the first time. Had a tight game versus us, which we needed a lot of luck to be able to win. Trash Pandas were just on a roll and things like that. during this past spring season. I mean, how was that process of trying to incorporate Jordan into the team and still try to figure out how to get back to that World Series?
Yeah, I think it went really smoothly, like you said. I mean, we had a really up and down season. I would say it's almost you could split our season into two halves. The beginning, like you said, where we had a lot of really uncharacteristic losses, I should say. Teams that we thought that we were better than and could beat, just couldn't get that timely hit, right? So we were, had runners on base, a couple outs, and just couldn't quite get them in. Which was disappointing, But then at the end of the year, we really started turning it on. We were getting those timely hits. We were finally getting some things to fall that weren't falling, and had a good run there. And Jordan fit in seamlessly. It was fantastic. He really bolstered the rotation, I would say, a lot. Right, Tyler was looking for that second guy, to help him out, and Charlie has been coming on and improving dramatically since that first season, where Tyler was like, yeah, you're not pitching at all, to like, yeah, no, Charlie, get in there and help, save us a little bit here. So he's really, really done well. So the fact that they are able to have a good switch off and that good lefty righty balance helps a lot, because we were so one dimensional for a while. And now it just kind of helps bring it up. And like you said, we play you guys, and if we go lefty righty, you guys are switching the whole time back and forth, with the fielding. I know it's not a big switch because it's not a big field, but it's still it's kind of comical to see that happening, where you guys are like, yeah, again, we got to switch again. So
I mean, obviously, nothing wrong with it. It is funny just to constantly see Justin just running around there in the outfield, just switching from right field to left field, things like that. Especially like one of the times we were short a couple guys when we played you guys and things like that. But but yeah. I mean, it seemed like it was a great fit with you guys. I mean, we discussed a lot of the Jordan stuff live. I mean, I actually found out live on that podcast that Jordan was switching teams, so that was kind of whatever you knew before was actually more than I knew. But right before he announced he was going to switch, so that was stuff we've discussed live on the podcast and separately off camera. So. But I mean, part of the reason Jordan switched is he wanted to try to see some more competition and try something different, and we got it right away in that playoff series. We end up as the 2 seed, the other Wolfels do, and you guys end up as the 3 seed for a very tight matchup here. I mean, going into this, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I kind of expected you guys to win versus us. Even though I announced different on the podcast, I mean, my head was telling me Beach City was going to win. But how did that D1 playoff series play overall for you guys? Like, what were your kind of the thoughts, the emotions, and the tiredness from that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say we were pretty confident going in there as well, right? So we had a really good. We were battling for the 4th seed on those last 2 weeks, right? So we were kind of between us and the Avocabros, right? We were like, we could be missing this playoff. We could be playing D2 teams for this playoff, which is something that we didn't want, because we knew that we could run through that, and we wanted it to be competitive. So we were really battling those last 2 weeks, and that's when we kind of tore it up a little bit. We got really good hitting and went into that battle, and we felt confident against you guys. We felt confident against whoever it was to be. If we got that 4 seed, we felt like we matched up really well with Trash Pandas. So it would have been another hard fought battle with them. And going into you guys, we were like, okay, we've seen them a lot. We got this. We can do this. And I would say the first, that whole first night that we played, right? Because we had to split it up into 2 different days, because that first game, I think, was the longest wiffle ball game I've ever played. It was like an hour and a half, which doesn't seem that long, but when you're constantly playing, you guys only had 3 guys. We had 4. It's just a lot of battle, back and forth, long innings, right? We both, that was kind of the story of the series, where all of a sudden we would be down by like 6 or 7 runs, and then we would be up by 6 or 7 runs, and then we would be down by like 3 runs because you guys went on another run. It was just crazy. Back and forth like that. I would say, luckily I didn't have to pitch at all. Not good with that, but it was tough. You guys had 3 players, and going between all three of you guys, there was no real like weak spot in that lineup, right? It's like facing, the Braves or the Dodgers lineup right now, where it's like the top three and that's all you face is really
Yeah.
tough. So I know Jordan and Tyler were really struggling, right? It was a lot of mentality, right? And it was tough because it's like if you walk one person, right, it's like, oh, well, there's 2 runs right there, because someone's going to come up and hit a home run, or someone's going to get that run because you guys are constantly there, and it's hard to get 3 outs consistently without giving up any runs against a top lineup like that. So that was tough. Yeah.
It was a great battle overall. As I either did or I will mention later on, it was one of the more tiring series I've ever been a part of. Probably that's pretty close between that and the MS Warriors series this previous spring when we won our first World Series, things like that. But I will say with that, I think a big advantage for us was actually getting to that third day. Because my hand was all sorts of messed up and I couldn't really hit after the first game. So kind of getting that break was huge for me, and kind of that reset in a different environment usually favors. It usually favors a guy like me who can usually adjust pretty quickly, as Justin and even Jordan could attest to in the spring 2023 World Series when we played on one of the side fields with the wind blowing hard and things like that. We adjusted pretty quickly and were able to beat a pretty undefeated, nearly undefeated team in the. At that point, they were plastic pitches blue, but you know them more as the MS Warriors and things like that. They changed names right when you got in the league, so that's always the funny part for me. But at the end of the day, it was a great battle, 3 games. It ended up ending with a Tommy Hernandez walk-off home run for the other Wolves to move on. What was some of kind of the talks between you and the team kind of after that series? I mean, because you just finished that, and then you still got to go play the Purple League World Series in a couple days.
Yeah, it was so after that first night, it was like, okay, it's a good battle. Let's figure this out, because we had Purple the next night, and it was like, okay, let's shake that off. Let's get going. So it was good that it was 1-1, right, going into that, because I think if we swept, obviously we would have been super happy and going into it, but if we got swept, it would have been really bad. I know that next night would have been really rough trying to play Purple with 3 guys that were on that team that were, we would all be not in the right headspace, I think. So splitting it helped a lot. Purple, and then that's what made Purple, I think, even harder too, is we're still kind of battling and reeling from that Monday series. It was like, oh my gosh, now we got to face a really good team again for the World Series, but able to come up on top there, which is great. And then going into that Sunday, we were again pretty confident. It was good for the guys to get the rest. All of our pitchers getting going. It had Tyler kind of sit a little bit more and come up with a game plan that we all liked, in terms of pitching and matchups and things like that. And then afterwards, once the game ended, obviously we were really disappointed, and it was tough. But with a quick turnaround, I mean, the season started in 2 days after that, for the new summer season. You really have to kind of shake it off a little bit. I know we were still talking about it on Tuesday when we came back, is how disappointed we were. We wish we were playing in that World Series game that night versus starting the new season. But we had a good night there. We won our 2 games that we played, and it was a lot better. But I think we're still going to be kind of hurting on that one for a while. That's one that kind of either is going to sink you or is going to drive you, right? So I think we can use it to be a learning experience and turn around and remember it and let us fuel us versus sink us the rest of the season. I think we'll be in a good spot, and looking forward to playing you guys again.
Absolutely. It's always fun to play with you, play against you. I mean, we see each other so much. I mean, pretty much everyone knows what's coming every time. A little different for us because I had to figure out what type of stuff Jordan is trying to learn on his own, because there's a lot of stuff I taught him. There's a lot of stuff he learned as well. So I was trying to see what else he's kind of added to himself. It's always fun playing you guys. And like I said, that was one of the more draining wiffle ball times I've had. Probably even more draining than I went to the World Championships wiffle ball and things like that. To be quite honest, but Overall, you guys did have a great season, both in the D1 and the Purple League as well. You guys continue to do well, and while you continue to do well as well, you continue to get better and better as we go on, and it's good to see that you're enjoying it, and obviously want to stick around. Obviously, with you still playing in both leagues and things like that. That's always good to see the people sticking around to keep playing the good game of wiffle ball.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's a great thing to do. You meet a lot of new people. We had some new teams coming in this season, which I'm really excited for. Just trying to keep growing it as best as we can. The more teams we have, the more competitive it can be, and the more fun it is. Instead of the same teams always there. So hoping this summer season in both purple and D1 and orange is a lot of fun. I mean, I'm looking forward to it a lot. Really excited that it's not going to rain, hopefully, and we can actually play, and that we're not, getting all these like stop and starts, and play consistently for the summer. We're really, really enjoying it and looking forward to it.
Well, speaking of rain and speaking of different styles of play, this previous year, you Charlie, Tyler, you decided to venture out and try a different style of wiffle ball in terms of fast pitch. You guys came out and you guys formed a team as well with Ethan Lee and Chris Lee for the SoCal Winter Wiffle Classic, where you get some fast pitch, you get some big barrels, base running, all that stuff. It was just pouring. It was just really wet, really muddy. It was pouring that day, much like the previous year with the Winter Classic. But what were your thoughts like from that tournament overall, trying that different style of play?
Yeah, so I want to start off by blaming Ethan Lee because he did not prepare us well for this tournament. He said, "All right, we're gonna play 3 games." I was like, "Perfect, 3 games is great, and we'll be done by 12." Awesome.
Famous last
Sign
words.
me up. That sounds perfect. So unfortunately, we played 1 game, and then Tyler had to leave because he thought, "Oh, we'd play 3 by 12." So we didn't have a full squad in the last 2 games. It was pouring. It was raining. It was a miserable day in that sense, and we got just absolutely crushed on all of our games. But I really did enjoy the wiffle ball part of it, right? So everything around the day was not fun, but everything with the wiffle ball and playing, seeing new guys, right, speed and running the bases and defense and things like that was really fun, and definitely thinking about doing it again whenever that's. I know there's another tournament coming up here pretty soon, so we would like to do something like that. We just need to find some other guys to join us, and we would be coming better prepared this time, right? So I'll bring some cooler, bring a tent, right? Know that we're going to be there for pretty much all day, and it's not going to be just like a 3-hour kind of get in, get out. But yeah, I had fun doing it. It was a new experience with the big barrel bats and the faster speeds. I actually thought we adjusted pretty well in that sense with hitting wise. Pitching, I know, like our first game we played against you guys, whatever your team name is for that league, and again, it was a close game. I think it was like 5-3 or 5-2, something like that. It was really for our first time, notching it up like that and doing some fast pitch, and big barrel bats. It was a fun competitive game, I would say, and want to play it again where it's not soaking wet and I can actually run the bases and have footing and things like that. I'm not miserable. So it was a good time. I love all the different, wiffle ball is one of those sports where you can play it in so many different ways. And you can still be competitive with it and still have a great time where it doesn't have to be this traditional one way or the other, where you can do it with different strike zones. You can do it with different speed limits. You can have runners. You can not have runners. It just really brings this dynamic, different ways to play, where you can play with, co-ed teams and make it even and still have it competitive. And you can play it with, no holds bar, big barrel bats, and, guys throwing, 92 out there. So it's a lot of fun.
You guys had a really cool team name as well.
Oh no!
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I'm not doing
Master Batters.
Oh my god!
It's a great team name.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I think we might if we could do it again, we might do another team name out there. Master Batters is a solid team name, but we might mix it up a little bit. There's some other ideas floating around of what we might be
Oh
going
boy.
towards.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Tyler hasn't let you know on this, but I do. Well, I do have access to a lot of these SoCal stuff because I actually do a lot of the Instagram stuff for them, and I have to keep track of some certain email things and things like that. Actually, the first order came in for this upcoming tournament here on May 18th, and that did actually include Tyler Moore signing up with you guys with you, Tyler, and Charlie Phillips. So it won't be that fast pitch style, and things should hopefully run a little quicker. But nice. It looks like you guys are going to be out there again. You guys are the first team to sign up, so you get to experience another different style of football where it's even different from that fast pitch style. You're getting some actual SoCal rules now, so it'll be interesting to see how that one goes and how you guys do out there. I think you guys could surprise some people out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have a pretty solid team, right? If we can get maybe another guy there, would be even more solid there. Just to help bolster up our pitching rotation a little bit, because I am no help at all when it comes to that. So they'll need someone else to help just distribute the innings out a little bit. But I think defensively we're a really solid team, and offensively we can really turn it on when we need to. I think we have very patient hitters. We kind of all like to work the count a little bit, and then when the time comes, we're ready to go and make sure that we're getting some runners on base and getting those runners in a little bit. So I think it would be a fun time facing it with some different rules and just another way to play wiffle ball.
Yeah, exactly. And just another way to have fun. I'm sorry to take up too much, Justin, but I was in a groove. I was in a roll. So if you want to get in there, go ahead.
No, I think those were a lot of really good questions, and I think we got pretty much the gist of the whole backstory between the two of us and what our teams basically have in terms of history between the two of us, because it's all
the time. There's always some. I mean, it's either playoffs, first 2 games of the season. It seems like we're always playing you guys, and then we even find each other in other tournaments. It's just one thing after another.
Yeah, in less than a year too. Like it's not been like super long time. It's been like this is in the span of just like a single year in itself too. Just like the amount of stuff that is happening in a year is just like oof, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to commentate. We had the pleasure of commentating your guys' World Series games back in the summer, which is really nice. And obviously you walking into the first season, then all of a sudden you guys won a championship. It's just like whoa, like I mean, how that must have been super fast in terms of just like I guess that kind of also elevates you to want to go get another one. But like, have you ever had anything in your past or history that you joined a league or something like that, and then all of a sudden you guys win a championship the same year you decide to become a rookie?
Yeah, I mean that was the crazy part. Like that's never happened to me, right? Whenever I've joined, a team or something like that, it's always been just for a good time, just for some cardio and having some fun and not really expecting anything. So this was a rare moment for me to jump in as a rookie, like I said, not even knowing what's going on and thinking that I was like, I could be fine. I'll do this stuff, I'll go out and I'll show up and it'll be a good time. And then being like, oh my gosh, I can't even see the ball. Like what's going on here? So that was a very unique experience, I think. But I mean, as a team, we all got better as the year went on. And I think that's what helped us win that championship. And then, it kind of surprised some people, like you said. Like I don't think anyone was expecting that team, full of free agents and a team that had only won one game the season before, go out there and do as well as we were doing, and then it just kind of all clicked in from there, and we've just added some pieces and changed some things around, and nothing in my past either like that. I think maybe high school, going from that jump from like JV to varsity. I was already, my team was already we were pretty good and we were expected to win it, that season. But yeah, besides that, I mean, it was rare. That's unusual for sure.
Yeah, and your guys' team was like a crack team of free agents, like you said. You guys, Ryder Johnson was like a random dude out there. Some people hit some bombs that we weren't expecting in that World Series and whatnot. So kind of a weird way to kind of tell it. But then obviously the other team had some guys missing as well, so that kind of helped a little bit. And obviously the most famous one was the drop catch home run out in deep left to Drake Hoffman.
Yeah, that one helped. That was a big one because I think I can't remember if that was the second game or the third or the final game.
That was the first game.
That was the first game. Okay, yeah, so that's
Yeah.
right. We won the first game, lost the second one, and won the third. But the first game, yeah, that was huge because that gave us a lot of confidence, right? So even though it was a drop home run, that still kind of drives it. It's like, oh, okay, well now we have a nice lead against this team that's really good. So if we can shut them down pitching wise, we'll be all right, and that's exactly what happened. And then the second game, again, it was really close. I don't even think that was a large score difference at all. So we knew going into that third game that we were pretty confident. We just needed a couple timely hits, like basically our whole time as a franchise has been like, okay, just need some, get some runners on base and get those guys knocked in. And when you're able to do that, you can beat a lot of really good teams out there because it is just about one or two innings, really, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, that is super true, and that kind of is a testament to what this series between our two teams were in that championship games. And like the first game, I think we were down by a ton of runs, and then all of a sudden it came back, and then you guys had that in the bag in the game two, and then game three was also like you guys nearly had that in the bag too, type of thing. Like it's just back and forth, like just get as many people on base as possible. And obviously we were down. You guys also have four guys, that type of stuff. So we talked about that plenty as well. But the reason why we love bringing people on the show is just kind of getting the backstory about everybody and how they found the league. Like Steven already asked, like how you found the league with my face on a poster type of thing, which is great. I'm happy that Anthony was able to put that out there and people can see that. Like, for example, my neighbors has seen that, like when they play their softball games with their kids, and they're like, oh, is that Justin? Like, wait, this is weird because I live in South OC, a little bit away from Tustin, so they sent me a picture, and I was like, yeah, that's me, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're famous. I'm like, not really. It's like
You're bringing in people to the league, man. That's how people find it.
Yeah, so I'm glad that I guess technically in a weird indirect way, it's like you're in the league because of me, but like obviously there's other reasons to that because like you meshed with guys like Tyler and Zach and Jordan now being a part of your team. So and now you have your wife involved in the league as well, which is awesome. So I guess my question to you would be is just since you started here, and I know it's only been like a year now, and what does it mean for you to be able to play wiffle ball in general? And now that you have your wife involved, I guess how does it feel to have you and your wife be involved in wiffle ball, and what does it mean to be out here like every Tuesday?
Yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, starting it off, joining it, we were playing. So, long story short, that my wife and I met playing co-ed softball. So that's how we originally met in college. Was we were on the same, co-ed softball team. She grew up playing softball. I grew up playing baseball. Something that has been, a driving factor in our relationship is playing sports and bonding over that. And so once we got married and kind of away from college and started working and things like that, we were trying to get back into doing something together because it had been a long time with the pandemic, with everything going on. And when you're working, you kind of forget all your hobbies, right? You're just focused on all that kind of stuff. So getting back into co-ed softball kind of led me to wiffle ball. And I was like, let me just do this one thing. We do softball together. I really want to enjoy, doing something else wiffle ball. And then she came out a couple times to watch and then started playing a little bit because I was like, I know you can swing it, so let's get in there, let's see what we can do. And now she's like, our go-to pitcher for Purple League. You know, she's our ace, because in there you have to have a girl get at least 3 outs, and she's in there getting 6 to 9 outs depending on the night. You know, so she's doing a lot of heavy lifting for us on the Purple League, and I love that it's something else for us to do together. On a Tuesday night, yeah, just kind of hanging out, because a lot of times we don't see each other until 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And this just brings us another element to do together, and the fact that her sister gets to play with us as well makes it a lot of fun. And we've had her, a couple of family members come out and watch us play, because why not? They have half of their daughters on there. And, it's a really fun time. Yeah, it brings everyone together. It's competitive, and it's competitive between our team. We like beating the other team, but we also are competitive within each other, and to see who's going to have a better night, at the plate or pitching. And her and her sister like to battle that out a lot. And Erin Patterson, her sister, is really good. She also hit almost like 500 average last year, and was bolstering our lineup as our number 2 hitter, and now she's our leadoff. So it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's very enjoyable. I didn't think this was going to be possible when I first started playing, and very thankful for that this is what is going on.
Yeah, and that'll lead into my next question. But like, just in general, just the fact that we have the Purple League now is, and I think a lot of people are starting to notice the value of having it with, involving, your partner, so to speak, bringing them in there, and then you guys get to mesh together and bring all these other people together that usually, you don't typically see in a usual day, or you guys are just doing like a hangout. This is, I guess, technically like the hangout of the week, where you go Tuesday nights to the park and hit some wiffle ball. So I think it's another great element for sure. And Steve and I have not been able to make a team for that league, but I think eventually we're going to try to do something for that, just to add some more competition to your guys'
If we know
play.
any females, we would.
Yeah.
We're not as good looking as you.
It's good. I mean, it's a fun time. It does make for some long nights, where you're like, okay, so I had a doubleheader for the Purple League, and then one game for D1, or vice versa. And it's like, okay, we're there, you're there from 6:30 to 10:30 really, or 10 o'clock, depending on the 10 o'clock, depending on the games and stuff. So it's a long night, but we enjoy doing it. And it's something that we'll probably continue. We might take a break here and there, just to kind of get back to a normal routine, but it's been a blast. It really has. It's been a lot of fun. We can see if we can win, a 3-peat would be awesome. It'd be so much fun. But if not, we know that we're having a good time out there, so it doesn't really matter. It's all about having fun and playing with everyone, and it's a good time.
That's the underlying thing, is just having fun. I think we kind of forget that sometimes when we get into these competitive games. But like, at the end of the day, like when the innings are done, they're like, we're just here to have fun. We're just here to come out, get together with some guys, and hit some wiffle balls. So my question to you also, because I'm learning this now, because I thought you were already friends with Tyler before you came into the league. So this is an interesting headline here. It's just now you've meshed with these guys, because I was like, thinking for the longest time, like, oh, they know Will, like that Will's been their friend for a long time or something like that. So I guess, how's that relationship kind of flown together? Because do you guys consider each other like good friends now after being together for a long time? You and Charlie and Tyler, like, do you guys hang out with them at all, like outside the league and stuff, or is it just like this is your guys' like thing, is like you show up Tuesdays and you guys talk with each other about life or whatever in the games?
Yeah, I would say definitely a little bit of both. Didn't know what to expect going in as a free agent. You don't know if you're gonna like your team, mesh well, blah blah, whatever. So I was very thankful that everyone was super open with that. And I would say that we kind of joined in this friendship with football. And Tyler and Zach and Charlie, I mean, those were kind of definitely the guys that we stuck around with the longest. And so we've hung out a few times outside of the wiffle ball. We've gone over to Tyler's place and had a good time hanging out. We'll practice a little bit. We'll hang out. We'll talk around. And yeah, I would say pretty good friends for the most part, and then obviously Tuesday nights is when we get to come together and hang out. I mean, we're all busy. We all have our different schedules and work and life and everything like that. But the fact that we already have Tuesday kind of locked in as everyone's going to be there, we're going to have a good time, and we're going to hang out is kind of where we get to spend the most time together. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and getting to know them has been awesome. And this friendship that's built up is great. So I even hope that if wiffle ball ends one day, or we take a break or can't play anymore, that they'll still be good friends and people that we can hang out with and rely on when we need to. It's been fun. Yeah.
There's definitely been said, and I know like it's helped Steven and I, and then obviously Dom's another guy who actually went to this. We went, all three of us went to the same high school essentially, and then getting to know Jordan. Like I can say for a fact, like Jordan's like become a really good friend of mine's. You and Tyler have become really good friends. Like these are people like I had no clue I'd never be able to mesh with like until whatever this moment. So like it's great to have this community. So like I guess in terms of like how do you feel that how do you feel the community is kind of like treated you and everyone else like just going into the league? Like you feel like they come in with open arms and whatnot? Like we've talked about you meshing with the Beach City Bombers, but like how about everyone else like around the league?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone's been super welcoming, and we've had a good time. I've had a really good time getting to know everyone. Like you guys, coming in here, it was like, okay, how competitive is this, right? Like, how do we not like other teams? Are we cool with people? Like, what's going on with this, right? And that can be some problems, right, where you have that underlying like tension between people that play each other so often and get competitive. But I think overall, we all have a pretty good relationship as a league as a whole, right? A lot of really good guys that we like hanging out with. A lot of people that you'll see if people aren't playing, they'll still be there. They'll have a game at 7:30 or whatever, but they're there for the 6:30 games, and we're just popping around and talking and hanging out with other teams, which makes it a lot of fun and enjoyable that way. I've met a lot of people like you guys. Nick, who's not playing this season, but was on. I think he was on not Whoosh, but the other D2 team.
Juicers.
The Juicers, yep. We had he's been around. I had a good time getting to know him. Jordan, coming over from your guys is switching over to us. We've got to know him over the years, and then we got a bunch of new teams starting this season too. So I'm really excited to get to know those guys. We played our first game against one of the new teams, and it was fun, like getting them to kind of know the sport a little bit and like the rules that we're playing. And then they were all a really cool group of guys, and really think that as we continue to grow and we continue to open and want these new teams to come in, it's just going to get a stronger community in that sense where we can really have a good time. And I think doing stuff like the Sand Series, the All-Star games, the home run derbies, the trying to do like the events where we go watch a baseball game. When we went down to San Diego a couple seasons ago, I think that's what really kind of bonded our team together a little bit more and a league as a whole. And hopefully we can do an Angels game or something like that again this year. And I think just if more people buy into that, it kind of grows the community, and we all get to know each other a little bit better, and have it even be more fun on that Tuesday where it's still competitive, but at the end of the day, we know that it's just wiffle ball, man. It's plastic balls and a plastic bat. We're just out there having fun, playing a kid's game. And if we can just get to enjoy the people that we're playing with and people we're playing against, I think it's going to be a little bit more fun.
I definitely like that, because I know that's what we're trying to set up here in this league, is just trying to at least keep the peace, so to speak, because I think sometimes things can get a little out of hand, but like we know how to settle things down immediately. Obviously we can replace buckets, we can replace clipboards, we can replace bats. Sometimes we just let things out at moments, but like you guys bouncing off and showing newer teams the ropes and how to adjust to the league and mesh in. I think that shows a great sign that we're doing the right thing in the right direction and bringing people in with open arms. So props to you for doing that, because that's I think that's exactly what the league is trying to do in general, which is awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, they had a good team. They're really good, and then we had a team last season that I wish stuck around because they were really good as well. And it's hard. It's a hard adjustment. We've been playing this. A lot of the teams that have been playing in the D1 and D2 have been playing for a couple seasons, right? So we kind of have our legs underneath us and know what to expect. So if we can get these new teams to kind of buy in and like, hey, yeah, the first season you might be taking some lumps, right, where people are going to be kind of getting on you because they're good. They know what they're doing. But if you take it and learn from it and want to come back, you'll get better, and I think that's the big thing is wanting to, yes, have fun, but also want to elevate everyone else around you. Right. So let's keep, trying to have them, in here, have a good time. Anthony's funny. He's always telling us, it's like, don't be mean to them. It's like, no, we're not being mean. We're playing, when we're trying to get them to get better too,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing for sure. Yeah. Well, we've been talking for a while now, which is great. Yeah, this is what we love to do here on the podcast. But Steven, do you got anything you want to add on to anything before we let Will go or anything like that?
Just keep going as long as you want. I think I'm good over here. You keep her going.
Okay. I guess my final question is, you guys, I guess looking forward now because obviously we're already in the midst of the summer season. I guess the big surprise to me was the fact that Zach is back, which is nuts. So, and that must feel nice to have another arm in there, so to speak. So that probably just adds on to the fact that you guys you guys are obviously going for another championship in Division 1, so I guess it must be nice to have Zach back in the crew.
Yeah, for sure. It feels like we're rolling with the full squad. Last season, even with the four of us, it was pretty remarkable that we were able to play 4 strong the whole season, right? Where Shannon, my wife, did jump in a couple games, when we needed her, but for the most part, it was the 4 of us. And so adding Zach back into the fold there just kind of, again, solidifies it a little bit more. He is a really good defensive player. Offense is fantastic as well. And he can jump in and get us a couple innings, as when we need him. So it's a really big benefit to have 5 solid guys where if someone's out or whatever, then you can 4 strong. And yeah, I'm really excited for the season. I think we're going to do really well. Hopefully you can make a run for it again and try to get the championship. But I think we all continue to get better and show up. We'll be in a good position. I think we'll be up there for sure this season.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, adding that arm back into it is just another element that makes it scarier because now you also have Jordan on there, which is ridiculous. So
yeah. I'm glad I'm not the captain of that league because it's a headache for Tyler, right? Trying to figure out, okay, so who, I need to get so many people innings. I need to figure out who matchups and who we're going to go to and stuff like that. So he does a great job. And there's a lot of communication within the team where we all really are on agreement. And Tyler kind of is leading us and guiding us into what he thinks is best. And then we have all the different opinions that can come in and be like, let's try this or whatever. And he's open to that as well, which makes it, I think, a really great team environment is that we all have our say and Tyler takes that into account and then we can roll from it, with it from there.
Absolutely. And Tyler is managing a pretty tough team there. And I don't know. Does that mean Charlie's time is done as a pitcher? Is that?
No, I wouldn't count on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So not to give away too many of our conversations or our secrets and stuff like that, but I really do think that you're going to see the heavy rotation of Jordan, Tyler, and Charlie would probably be first and foremost. And then if Zach wants to get in there, he can get in there a little bit, and he can definitely notch it up a little bit. And he has some really, really great stuff. So I think overall we're a pretty solid team. And for the most part, though, I think you're going to see a 3-man rotation for the most. We can, if needed, we have the 4th that can go in there.
Okay, absolutely, and that makes sense because obviously Zach is historically in the league has got some great numbers in the previous years. So yeah, well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I feel like we got pretty much everything out of you, Will. So
Yeah.
but I mean, definitely glad to have you on here. That's obviously a big thing, just because obviously your guys' crew is a bunch of funny characters, and hearing the exchanges between all of you guys is pretty hilarious to hear sometimes, especially making fun of Charlie when it's him being old, or just Jordan like doing some crazy stuff or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's what's the fun part about us is that we, like I said, both teams were competitive with everyone else, but I think we're more so competitive with each other, and that's what just kind of like elevates us a little bit. Is we all want to be leading the team in home runs or hits or whatever it is, and want to beat each other more than I think we want to beat the other team, and I think that's what makes it fun and a good time that we can kind of get on each other and still enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess my final question, this is the last one, I swear. For you, is just like, what are you looking forward to for yourself for this season? What do you want to set as your goal for this upcoming summer season?
Yeah, I like it. Summer season. No clipboards broken. That's first and foremost.
Got
Yeah, no no bats bent over the shoulder or in the bushes. But then also I was I was disappointed, man. I was the only person on my team that didn't hit 400 last year. I had like 396. I was like 4 points away. So that's my biggest goal, right? Let's hit 400. Season I've gone up. I think the first season I hit like 220. It was bad. But then I kind of got better every season after that. So if I can get up near 400, I think that would be a solid season. And yeah, so that's my main goal this year.
I mean, you were very close. You almost had the team lead in home runs. Just Jordan decided to edge you out on one more, so he had 17. You had 16. So, obviously he's a big bat, but I guess that would be the competition, like you did with Tyler in the Purple League. Just try to hit too many home runs.
Exactly. Yeah. So get up in the average, be an all around hitter. I think is something I'm looking forward to, and then trying to get something. Yeah, I need a lead in something in our team. So whether that's home runs or on base or something like that, I just need to kind of be elevating the team that way so that we all get better. So yeah.
Loved it. Well, I'm looking forward to it this summer season. Thank you, Will, for obviously being here and taking your time out of your day to join our podcast, because I know we get a lot of great views on this show. Like YouTube loves to run our algorithms and drive up our viewership a little bit. But obviously, great to have you on here, like 100%. You got any closing statements you want to share, Steven, before we send him on his way?
I think we're all good here. We appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your day to come join us. We will see you for the rest of this season, as well as the May 18th tournament.
Yeah, sounds great. Can't wait, guys. Good luck with everything, and I'll see you guys on Tuesday. All around.
Sounds
Take
good.
care.
Right.
Thank you,
Have a good day, guys. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We'll get into D2 and download right here in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Will Cantrell, for joining us. Always great to have another member of the Beach City Bombers / Babes to be here with us, and obviously we get to see those guys almost every single time, every season, and like we'll talk about it later in the show, because we had a really close series against their Division 1 team, so we'll get to that, but as always, appreciate having a guy like that on our show, and love his personality. He's a very mellow guy,
Yeah, I mean, he can talk for he's very very good at just expanding on a subject and things like that. There are a couple of things. It's like usually I get some questions kind of leading to stuff, and he was just leading into stuff like 2-3 questions ahead of me. So that's a great quality to have, to be able to eloquently state things like that. So thank you both for coming on, and we'll see what the Beach City Babes and the Bombers got for this summer season. It might be for the Bombers. It might have to be a redemption season for them with Tyler Moore back.
That's right.
I mean Zach Morris, I should say.
I was gonna say, yeah, Zach Moore being a big surprise this season, coming back to the team. So going to be interesting to see how that meshes together I mean, they have Jordan, so there's going to be some pitching rotation competition or whatever they're going to set up in terms of strategy.
Trouble,
yeah.
as you could say.
Yeah, that's true, because now they have to compete with each other in that sense. But yeah, I think anytime you have an interviewee that's able to bounce off of your question topics and expand further on things, I think it just makes it a lot better and gives it more flair to what you're talking about. Like you said, you used a big word there. I like that.
Are you not used to the big words?
I usually don't put big words in my mouth, but anyways, you know where that was going.
I'm not going to speak.
Besides the big words that are happening, one of the big words that's going around is Division 2 right now, which we'll get into at this very in this very moment.
Oh my God, what a transition!
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Obviously, we talked about back-to-back champs. We're gonna get another back-to-back champ coming in here for Division 2. But before we get into it, we got to talk about like who are the teams basically in this Division 2 playoffs. Obviously, if you haven't been following the season, if you're watching the show for the first time, basically what happened last season is wherever you place in the standings for the Orange League, which is basically the entire league itself. If you ended up in the last 4 seeds, you ended up in the Division 2 playoffs. So the teams there were the Avocabros, OC Juicers, Whoosh, and Pitches Gone Wild. Whoosh and OC Juicers would be the ones that play each other in the semis, and then Avocabros would be the ones that play Pitches Gone Wild in the semis, and then whoever wins those games obviously moves on to the World Series for Division 2 in a sense. So take it away, Steven.
Yeah, so first up, we had that 5-8 matchup. We had the Avocabros taking on Pitches Gone Wild. Don't know any exact scores. Do know the Avocabros advanced, I believe, in 2 games. A lot of offense here from both teams. Actually, I saw some good number of home runs from both sides. Playing on that dirt field can make it feel a little bit of a difference there. It can make the field feel a little bigger than you may be expecting, but. I mean, the Avocabros offense, as they have been the whole year, they just continue to pour on, and they were able to beat Pitch Gone Wild here to advance themselves to with their first ever playoff wins and their first ever World Series appearance here in D2. I mean, maybe they would have wanted to be in D1. They just missed out on it by a game or two, but they're here. They're here for D2, and they end up in the World Series. On the other side of the bracket here, we got Whoosh taking on the OC Juicers, a 6-7 matchup, one of the better matchups of the playoffs, as I mentioned last time. Probably the matchup I was second most looking forward to. We'll get into the one I was most looking forward to a little bit later on after our guest, LeCompte, comes on here. We had Whoosh taking on the OC Juicers. A little bit of an interesting matchup here. OC Juicers down to 2 guys, only Nicholas Tone and Joel Gonzalez out there for the Juicers, so a two-man fielding crew is not ideal, especially when one of them has to pitch. But I mean, and Whoosh pretty much had their full lineup. I believe they had most of their guys, maybe missing one, but very close series here. I believe Whoosh took game 1, OC Juicers came back and took game 2. But at the end of the day, Whoosh came back and ended up beating the Juicers in the 3rd game. Just maybe if the Juicers had one more guy out there, they could have done something and advanced to that World Series. But overall, this was another very close series overall, much as we saw with the Purple League World Series. Very close series here, and I mean, yeah, like I said, maybe if the Juicers had one more guy, maybe they would have been able to do it. But it's one of those we'll never know. It's like we saw with the SoCal Sharks and the SoCal Wolfball. It's like if they had their guys, you never know.
Never know, yeah. I mean, I think we've had that situation too. Like we even had that problem in the playoffs, and we're going to talk about the OC Wiffles later, who also have people issues as well in those semifinal games with 2 guys missing. But yeah, we always talk about that scenario, just like maybe the game could be different if we had the A guy or B guy standing in this spot or this spot, and then the ball gets hit over there, and it's like, what are you going to do about it, right, in that situation?
Yep.
And it's tough, right? But like when you have Gonzalez who's out there, like the way he plays defensively, like he's flying across the field, and the amount of home runs that he was hitting in that game too was actually crazy. The fact that they only did it with 2 guys, like it is a testament to just how talented Joel Gonzalez is. I'm not gonna give credit to Nick Tome because he doesn't swing that much, but I heard he was hitting the ball pretty well anyway. So a little bit of props to him for actually doing a pretty good job. And obviously they kept it close. Like 3 games is a big deal here.
Yeah, and you have the same 2 people coming up every inning and stuff. It's gonna get harder and harder to pitch to those guys. They're gonna start seeing more and more pitches and be able to work themselves on the base more and more and just get into a groove. So, but Woosh able to come out on top and able to defeat them in that 3rd game is a big plus for Woosh. And Anthony Agusa making it into his 3rd ever World Series in this league, trying to get his first win though.
Yeah, trying to get that first win, and it's interesting. The long history of this league has never had a title in his hands ever, or be a part of a team that's had a title in that retrospect. But bouncing off that 2-person like combo, like 2 people is dangerous, man. I mean, you and Dustin won a tournament, just the 2 of you, I think at one point, if I'm correct, right? I mean.
Yeah, we did talk. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Oh, that video should hopefully be going out in about a month or so on the SoCal Wiffle channel. We got to get through the World Series, the awards show, a couple other tournaments, and then that one. Hopefully the footage didn't get lost, but because he had that issue with a couple tournaments last year. But yeah. I mean, you two, man. You just keep seeing the ball over and over. You get to see the same pitches over and over again. It can become beneficial and easier for you to hit. So. Yeah. I mean, both those guys are good to pretty good players in this league. Unfortunately, won't be back for a while at least. I've heard Joe Gonzalez could possibly come back in the winter. Nicholas Tone, I'm not sure if he's able to come back for the rest of this year, but I mean, it was a good way to go out for them. They went down fighting. You can't ask for much more.
That's true. Can't ask for too much more. Just obviously, you wish you had some other players to help you out there, but obviously that's not exactly what happened. But anyways. Ending up here in the playoffs is the Avocabros and Woosh here. Obviously, Avocabros is a team that has participated in the Division I playoffs before. We like to consider them a Division I team because of just their history. They've been fighting for a lot of Division I spots in the past few seasons, and obviously they're looking for a World Series title. Like I think that's just something that they've been looking for some time now, especially with those guys who kind of been together. The same group of guys, Lucas, the Hicker Bros, and then Nick Futris. Those guys have kind of been together for a long time.
Careful how you say that.
I know, right? And then obviously the Woosh is a team that you know personally with a lot of the guys who have been around in the league for a long time. Obviously we're having Donald join us here in a second. Ryan Miller is on that team. There's a long history here with you, and then obviously they're chasing back-to-back World Series titles here like they did a season ago. So you being the secondary owner of Woosh, considering them the third Ellie Wolves of OC team, how did they do?
That first game was a barn burner. I heard it was something along the lines of like 30-29, something along that. One of the higher scoring games you'll ever see in OC wiffle ball, even for a Purple League game. Like this score just got out of hand real quick. And Avocabros, I think we're down like 8 in the last inning, and they nearly caught back up to take the game 1 victory. But Woosh ended up coming out on top in game 1 and in game 3 as well. Ended up winning it. I wasn't sure if it was 2 or 3 games. It was 2, but from what I've heard, it's 3. We'll have to check with Donald once he comes on here. But regardless, Woosh ends up coming out on top. Woosh ends up coming out on top here over the Avocabros. A 6 seed taking down the 5 seed, or a 2-1 in terms of D2 playoffs. But Woosh end up going back to back, and Anthony Agusa ends up with his first World Series in this league, at least.
He's also from the Clemson Wiffle Ball League out there.
I'm not sure if he won one out there. I didn't follow that one closely because I didn't know it existed until we met Anthony. So I could be. I got no clue.
Maybe he did. Who knows? Or maybe that's why he moved out here to get some different looks in terms of competition. Who knows? But obviously,
it got too easy for him over there.
Oof, that'd be hilarious. If anybody from
Apparently.
Clemson's watching this, come out and let's do like a East versus West wiffle ball competition.
Oh Lord. Yeah, actually, I remember one time before you came into the league. I remember one time he had a guy from Clemson come out, like either like the guy who was running it at the time or ran it with Anthony. He came out and played a week of OC wiffle ball out here.
Oh shit! Okay.
I'd have to go back and find some video of that.
Oh, there's video of that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, back in the day when the OC wiffle ball stories were saved. They're not saved on the. Okay, never mind.
Excuse me? Oh, I see.
Well, I'm saying if you go look at the OC wiffle ball Instagram page, you can't see any of the past stories ever.
Oh yeah, because we don't put them on there.
It used to be a thing. You could see it up to like the fall 2022, I think.
Oh, okay. LA
So
Wolves
that's used
of
to be
OC.
like you'd save like week 8, week 7, week 6 from all those past seasons, but not anymore. It seems.
Yeah, you can check out LA Wiffles of OC's past. We still got all those videos on there.
Always.
always. We keep records.
But the Instagram wasn't alive when when the game went on.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. Like not when the beginning happened. Yeah, no. Only when I started joining on a board and taking the videos and stuff. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were the one who wanted to run the Instagram page. So I said, okay, sure. If you want to start, if you want to do it, all right, fine.
I still gotta figure out what's wrong
we're
with your
getting a little
stuff.
off track.
Yeah. Anyways,
We're getting a little off track here. Let's come back.
let's get back to it. Yeah. Well, obviously, we're gonna Donald LeCompte join us here. Obviously, he's been around in the league for some time. So, why don't we get him on here and get his thoughts on getting another dub here in Division 2 in terms of the World Series champs. All right, guys. Welcoming to the show is Donald LeCompte, captain of Whoosh from the Division 2 team. Our second guest of the show. He's joining us here on the That Scuffed Up podcast. How are we doing today, Donald?
Doing great. Super pumped to be here. Been with wiffle ball since like the first season in Orange County, so finally made it to the podcast. It's exciting.
Indeed, yeah. You've been here for a while now. You've been managing the Whoosh team for a long time. We know some of the guys on that team. Ryan Miller used to be a teammate of ours on LA Wiffles of OC. You've had run-ins with Steven here as well a few times, and you guys have been
run-ins. I don't want
Run-ins.
to.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
former teammate run-ins. Just
Yeah, there we go.
chilling around the league. Just floating around, just that type of thing. But obviously, this is that second title that you guys have now, back-to-back years, which is pretty cool. Steven likes to joke about the fact that you guys are kind of like the third offset team of the LA Wolves of OC, so to speak, or whatever.
I don't know about that. We can get into that.
I think we had you at I think the first time I met you was like when we had you, or you played on our team as like a guest player or something like that. Like that was like in the fall season, I think, like a while ago.
Yeah, it would have been a while ago.
Yeah,
I did a kind of a season and a half with the LA Wiffles. Whoosh was kind of at an in-between period. We had a couple guys fall off. We were trying to figure out where we were going. I was only around for half a season, so it was like, probably didn't make sense for Whoosh to be around. So I was pumped to join Steven and Co. for a season and a half or so.
And then you guys brought it back.
Yeah, we're gonna get into the LA Wolves OC thing. We'll get a little to it later on.
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I Donald was with us when he was with the LA Wolves when I was first taking over the team in the summer 2022 season. I was a little bit of a free agent team, but I had guys like Ryan Miller, Nick Usoff, had Donald LeCompte in there. Had a couple other free agents who weren't as consistent, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was also the summer. You were only there for like 4 or 5 weeks, and then you went away for the rest of the summer as well. So it's like couldn't fully commit to a team because you were gone.
Exactly. But those three names you mentioned all made their way to Whoosh, so I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have had that group for a while now too, like just kind of sticking together, which is a good thing, for a team to mesh together. So in terms of that, obviously how the season has been going by, you guys have been Division 2 now for a few seasons. How did you guys feel the season went overall this year compared maybe to last season's, or just when you guys started this whole Whoosh type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess going back to the beginning, right? Whoosh has always kind of been there as a contender, but just never was able to quite break through. I mean, from some of those first seasons when there were 5, 6 teams in the league, we would make it to like the championship series or whatever and just fall apart against teams that we knew we should beat. I feel like the last few seasons has almost been the opposite. For us, I mean, like we really follow the mission of OC Wiffle Ball, right? Which is to get out there and have fun and meet people. And it's not like, hey, we're here and we got to win every week. Like that's not our goal usually. We're just out there having a good time. So regular season record, regular season stats, you look at that, like we're like, you're not the greatest. Playoff time comes around, it's like, all right, we got to lock in. So for us, it's like we've got teams we're playing in the playoffs. They're like, what the heck are these guys? Who's Whoosh now? Like this is a different team coming in. So it's been fun the last couple of seasons to kind of be an underdog in the regular season, come into the playoffs and be like, all right, we can get our act together and do this like we know we can.
You guys have kind of kept it together for some time now too, which, being in Division 2, now you guys got your second title. I believe the first time around in the fall season, you guys nearly made it too. And then it was a walk-off, I believe, in that fall season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tough one to watch, but then you guys got it back, which is great. So I guess, you guys have the second title now. How does it feel to just be, I guess it's essentially a target behind your back, if we want to put it that way?
I mean, we're happy to take that target. We know we can deliver in the playoffs, right? That's what matters for us. But we're happy with that target. Again, we're out there to have fun, to meet people, to make friends, do whatever. But like, we don't mind that target on our backs. We know we're an OG team. We know we've been Whoosh since I think we're the longest standing team now in the league. And that in itself, titles alone is going to put a target on your back, right? So we're happy with that. We don't mind. We're out there having a good time. We're all good friends. We enjoy each other. So for us, that's what matters.
It definitely matters indeed. So, we talked about you guys, you being one of the veterans of the league. You've been here for a long time, very, very long time. How did you, I guess, going back to the beginning, how did you guys find the league? And, since then, how have you kind of played out throughout that time in history? Being me, I have not, I don't know that history as much. That's why Steven is here to tell me all that history.
Yeah. So I guess going back to fall of 21 when the league first started, right? I'm from the East Coast, moved out to California at that point. There's a quote on the website, which is not a quote from me, but I mean, it easily enough could be. I think it's something like, I had no friends, and then I joined wiffle ball, and now I have friends, something like that. It's something along those lines, right? So I was out here for a month or two, figuring out what I was doing with work, all that. Wanted to start to meet some people. Got onto the Meetup app. Was like, let's see what's going on, see what sports leagues there are, that sort of thing. And I saw wiffle ball. It's like, what the heck is this? Let's go out. Let's check it out. There's a group of 4 or 5 of us. A couple of folks, I think, from that initial random Meetup group are still in the league. Ethan Rothman. Shout out to Ethan. He's still in the league. A couple of us, we just formed a little bit of an impromptu team. Stuck around for the rest of the season. They were already halfway through. We were like, you know what? Let's do this. It's fun. We'll pay a few bucks and stick around. And then we kept going from there. We had a few guys. We had Jeff, who's an OG member of Whoosh, who helped brand our jerseys. He helped create our team name. He hasn't been around in a little while, but we had kind of a core group there for probably 3 or 4 seasons. That core group has just evolved. Guys like Nick, Drew Plant, Ryan Miller, Owen Schur. We've got the commissioner of the league now as well. So we've just kind of evolved and kept a little bit of a core group and brought on some new free agents where we can as well, helping to introduce some people to the league.
And that certainly helps a lot too. Like you talk about having the commissioner, because he's also been there basically the longest. He's played wiffle ball a long time, and then kind of helping you guys throughout this season as well. I'm going to turn it over to Steven a little bit because I know he's got some questions he wants to ask. Go ahead.
I'll continue off right there. Obviously this was you guys' first season with Anthony, having Anthony on your team. He's obviously very busy out there. Isn't always available to play the field, or sometimes you gotta wait for him to get in that bat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But how was it having him on the team for this season?
So going back like 7 or 8 seasons, he was a free agent at one point, and I texted him a picture of a blank check, and I was like, "Here, just write in what you want, and we want you." And he turned down a blank check. Now he finally took on that offer. I will say we didn't offer a blank check this time around, so we could have had a way better deal early on. But super pumped to have him with us. Great guy. glad to call him a friend. It's great being out there with him. We would joke with him early on, like, hey, you're going to play defense? Like, what's the deal? But honestly, he's been out there most of the time playing defense. He's our ace on the mound. He's a great pitcher. It's that little lob ball in there. I know you've all seen that to change that eye level of batters. So it's fun having him out there and big clutch ABs, right? Just when you need him to come up big at the plate, he always tends to do it. So it's great having him out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the record overall this year, look at the season overall this year. You know, we went to one division this time and then split it up as we got into the playoffs. But you know, however, looking into it here, you guys did not have the best regular season, I should say. I believe you guys finished with a 3-11 record, put you guys in the 6th seed though. I mean, despite not the most success there. I mean, what was your guys' confidence level going into that playoffs to be able to pull off the that D2 World Series?
I mean, the confidence levels were high. They were. I mean, team stats were bad. Individual stats, you dig in deeper, I think were even worse. I want to say I had under a 200 batting average this regular season. I started a new job in the fall, so I work in downtown LA. It's quite the commute into these games. And those exhaustion levels when you're waking up at 4:30, they hit you around game time, right? So those few games before the playoffs, I actually took a little nap myself to just be like, all right, we got to refresh, we got to energize. I think that brought the batting average up around 500 in the playoffs. I know we don't keep the stats there, but all of us, I think, just came in refreshed, renewed, ready to go, knew we needed to lock it in. Confidence levels were high, and we executed. We knew what we needed to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys have been there before. You guys have done that. Even Anthony, who hadn't won a championship before this, he had been to a World Series previously.
This is his first championship. Talk about the commish, right? First championship.
Yeah.
And how many seasons of running wiffle ball? Super pumped to be there for him with that.
Yeah, he's been to a couple World Series. I remember the summer 2022 World Series. He made it and lost to the Trailer Park Boys. Yeah. And then also, the fall 2023, you had the Purple League World Series in which they lost to the Glizzy Gladiators. So,
and I know some folks along the year, some folks have tried to bring him on too along the years and be like, "Hey, come join us, and you can win a championship finally." He joined us, and he did it. So,
he delivered on it. Delivered on that promise, and it's funny. It's funny you bring up. Jeff Roboto as well. He's actually our teammates. Tommy Hernandez, who he actually plays with Jeff Roboto in a fast pitch league as well. So Jeff is still around. Jeff's still playing. Jeff's doing good as well. So it's good. That's good to see. It's good to see there. I mean, I've known about Jeff for a while since you guys have been in the league and stuff. Going way back. I mean, you won a couple awards in your time, if I'm not mistaken. As I'm trying to look it up here. Do you by off chance remember any of those awards at all, or
the one that sticks out to me is Manager of the Year, which is quite a few years back. I mean, I know you can't win it every year, right? Because you can't just give it to the same guy. But no, I think it was one of the earlier seasons. Manager of the Year. Still have that bat. It's actually in the back of my video background at home for like calls at work. The little bat there. Or actually, no, that one's the plaque. Yeah, that one's the plaque.
That's when everyone was giving plaques. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's on the wall in the video background, which is awesome. Which for me, that's quite the honor, right? Like, hats mean a lot.
Always.
But again, like we're here for the mission, right? And like to be able to bring a group together that like is a core group and keep them coming back, keep that member retention. To be a Manager of the Year was huge for me. It was quite the honor. And this year too, it was actually really great to see the franchise continue to go strong. I mentioned, so new job and all, I've got a million things happening just kind of outside of life. I transitioned the captainship over to Sir Ryan Miller. So Ryan Miller led the charge in our second season. I mean, I got fired after our first World Series myself, and we still managed to get back and win the title under Ryan's reign. So it's been great to see Ryan keep that on now.
Absolutely, yeah. If you want, for people more curious on the specifics, Donald was the second ever Manager of the Year. He won in the spring 2022 season. So that's right when I first joined, right in that spring 2022 season. You walked away with Manager of the Year, and you had some great players in the past as well, as you mentioned with Jeff and other stuff. But it's been kind of a reboot and a switch of some of these guys in here.
I mean, we've had some silver sluggers, we've had some MVPs, folks like Drew Plant, like Nick Usoff. We've had some killer guys on the team over the years.
Absolutely, it's good to see. It's good you guys growing as a group. Which we'll get into a little bit more what I like to joke about and have fun with around here. I mean, as we mentioned, that LA Wolfsville C team back in the summer 2022 had guys. It had me, it had you, it had Ryan Miller, it had Nick Usoff, and you guys would add guys like Owen Scher, who I also play some Sunday League baseball with from time to time as well. So no, I do, given the fact that I do know all these guys, and I've played with a lot of you guys, and it almost this always feels like my my D2 LA Wolfsville C team. Do you have any response to that? Since I know we've joked about it a couple times, but I mean, in a way, it's like I feel proud of you guys. Sorry, my mic went weird. All right. I feel proud of you guys the way you guys stuck together, but it's always a joke, man. It's nothing super serious. It's just something fun to say, so I can claim another World Series title here.
Well, we won't let you claim stake to our World Series titles. That's okay. That's kind of the way we want to do that. You're welcome to feel that way. It's great. We did all enjoy our time. We had some growth. We had some development on that franchise. I know around the time that we were all there, it was still an early team, right? You didn't have jerseys yet. You didn't have all that kind of stuff. I think Ryan might have been there for one season of the jerseys. So for a lot of us at that point, it was just kind of like finding our footing. I know you were finding your footing in the league too. We didn't have the podcast yet. You weren't the ace on the mound. Like, you were quite the ace on the mound, but like, you were still developing, right? We were all at this development point, right? And that's, I think, where we kind of started to break off. Not in a bad way, not getting into it like you were saying before, Justin. I don't know, never got into it. Had some run-ins, but no, I think we just kind of found our own path at that point, and have both been successful. I mean, a couple World Series titles here, as you reminded me at the top of the call, for you guys, and a couple on our end. So I don't know. I wouldn't say we're a D3 team as we've been put in the past. I think you've said that in the past on this podcast, D3. But honestly, 2 D3 titles here, so I don't know about that. But happy you feel that way.
It's always fun to have some fun and stuff, and I try to add a little bit of layer onto the podcast or whatever it is to try to do stuff. But I mean, it's always been great to see you guys have fun, be able to grow more with each other. Guys like Owen Scher and Ryan Miller and Nick Usoff. Did you guys first meet out there at wiffle ball, or did you guys meet outside and then also decide to do more wiffle ball stuff together?
Yeah, so Nick drew some of those folks. It was first through wiffle ball. I think Ryan was kind of around there too, a few other touch points. Owen is actually a coworker of mine. So I was his onboarding buddy on my team at work, and we were chatting about how he plays baseball. I was like, dude, come on out. Let's do this. Let's have fun. Side note, it's great to see now too. We've got a team from my workplace out here this season. See these G's, mostly Capital Group Associates.
Nice.
So it's great to see some representation from the firm out there too, elsewhere. But yeah, it's kind of been a mix. Some folks that we've brought in along the way, and some that we've gotten to know out on the field.
Nice. That sounds good. Yeah, it's always good to see, and always good to see you able to bring some new guys out here. I know that the previous fall we had we gotten up to 19 teams and then kind of fallen down a little bit, but getting back up there slowly and surely. I think we're up to 14 teams this summer or something like that. So
I mean,
we'll
you
see
look
how we
around the
keep.
field and everybody's having a good time, right? Like, regardless of how many teams are out there, like every game you look at, people are laughing, smiling, having fun. They're being competitive. Like, that's what it's all about. So it's great to see that across all the teams that are there. Everyone is super engaged. Everyone's there trying to win, but everyone also having fun while they're at it.
Absolutely. I mean, and looking at, it's kind of weird for us because at this point we haven't actually started the summer season, but see these G's are off to a great start so far. 2-0 record, 25 runs scored, only 9 allowed. So they're off to a pretty good start. Oh, was it against you guys?
It was against us. They beat us 6-5 in week 1. Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So, like I said, sleeper team in the regular season, but they came in hot. It was their first game, and we taught them the rules, and there you go. They beat us.
Maybe taught him a little too well.
Maybe.
That must be a fun conversation at the office.
It feels kind of weird because like we haven't technically started the summer season because we had to finish our Spring World Series, but it's kind of it feels like we're a little behind the 8 ball here with everything going on. But
I'm sure you'll more than catch up and get back to the World Series soon enough here.
That's the goal. That's the goal. And you see some D1 teams trying to load up. Obviously, we just lost to the Trash Pandas in 3 games, as we're going to talk about later on the podcast with Blake Fitzgerald. So, I think things will be very interesting. Things will be very fun. Actually, speaking of fun, I do want to talk a little bit about that, about the World Series, the games in general. What was that first game? I heard it was something. It was like 30-29. Like, I'm not sure I've ever seen an offensive game like that in this league.
Yeah, it was a long one. Bats were hot. Like I said, we came in hot knowing we needed a hit because the six were slow in the regular season, and that to us was a key to playoff success. We obviously gave up a lot of runs while we were at it too. Two powerhouse offensive temes out there kept battling away, and we just happened to scrape that one out.
Absolutely. I mean, a great bat. I mean, you guys proved both of us wrong. I think both of us did pick the Avocados to win the World Series. So, you guys proved both of us wrong there. So
you voted against your D3 team. How dare you?
You already got one. I was like, let's let someone else have another one. Yeah.
He's relinquishing his ownership.
You get him wrong sometimes. Sometimes you get him right. I think. Yeah. Yeah. I think, as we're going to discuss later, I think I went 0 for 3 in this year's World Series. So, in terms of my predictions, so.
Oh man.
And sometimes you're good, sometimes you just suck. I got like 100% of the awards correct for the spring season. Then I sucked for picking a winner. So, it's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but I mean, that first game wasn't for us. We came back though those next 2 games. I think the second game, we almost got them to the point of them thinking about waving the white flag, right? Like, we're playing a game 3, let's just get to it. So we came out strong there. I think it was the 3rd game, if I remember correctly. We had quite the lead. We were feeling confident there. We were up like 14 runs or something at that point, in like the 3rd or 4th inning. And we won by a few. They had, I want to say, the winning run on base. It was pretty tight. We had our ace, Mr. Grusa, on the mound, Anthony. The commish came in, closed things out for us, but it got a little dicey. Some of us who hadn't had our best pitching outings of the season, myself included, out there, helped give up a few runs and made it a tighter ball game. But we were really happy to sneak it out in game 3, what should have been an easy win for us. But we made it happen. We secured that title.
Yeah, so sometimes it's better to get as long as you get it done, as long as you got it done. That's the end goal for that day at least. But congratulations to you guys, Justin. If you've got anything else.
Well, we could talk about like stats and league and everything like that. I guess my final question, because most of the time we like to get the people on here to ask them about just like what it means to play wiffle ball. Like for you personally, like what does it mean for you to be able to come out here every Tuesday night, or whenever we do like the trips down to San Diego, for example, or the stuff we do in Newport? Like, what does it mean to you and the other guys to be able to do wiffle ball so often these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's not something I grew up playing. It's not something I ever thought I'd be playing semi-competitively. It's like a good fun fact for things, right? Like if I'm doing school right now too, and other stuff with work, like it's a fun fact. I play in a semi-competitive wiffle ball league. Everyone's like, what? Like people play wiffle ball? So for me, in that sense, it's fun, right? It's cool to be able to do something. Like I've said a few times, being able to meet people. On a trip right now, I'm actually on the road with some folks from wiffle ball and some folks I got to meet through the league, and it's a great time to be able to make those close connections. Right now it's long days for me, but you're committed to the craft. You get up early for work, you make your way to the field, and you head home and you get back at it. But it's worth it. right? It's worth it to be out there. The energy, the excitement of the music playing, those nerves, the adrenaline of a World Series Game 3 with the winning runs on base, like that competitive spirit when it comes in, it's in all of us. So it's great to be able to feel that through a football.
Do you find it kind of helping you, like, in terms of your mental and then, being at work all the time? Do you think, does it help you a lot being able to go Tuesday nights and be able to see all these guys and be able to be like, hey, I can play a little wiffle ball and not have to think about work at this moment? And then obviously it's something you guys can talk about like later on, right?
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I say that and my team's going to make fun of me. They see me out there with the work phone often, on occasionally taking calls from the field. They're like, who's this calling now? What is this? But yeah, no doubt. I mean, being able to take your mind off everything else that's happening in life, it's a great place to disconnect and just go have fun for a few hours.
I like that answer. I mean, I guess that's the big reason why most of us are out there anyways, just being able to, go get our minds off of something and play and have
Absolutely.
fun with a bunch of random dudes or people that because Steven and I, the only reason I'm in this league is because he dragged me out there by my legs because we were high school classmates. So, I mean, it worked out. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You learn something new every day.
Exactly.
Class of 2017, baby. Anyways, but yeah.
There you go.
I don't want to keep you here too long though. So like I know you gotta head out pretty soon. So I hope we're okay on time, right?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes here if that works for us.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if Steven, do you got any last minute questions before we wrap up and let Donald head off here back into the world, and eventually we'll see him on Tuesdays when they're playing in the summer season.
I think I'm all right here. We appreciate you coming on here to come talk to us. One of the longtime members of the league, and obviously and now a two-time champion. I mean, it's not always the goal, but it is nice little addition to add on to it, that two-time champion part. But we appreciate you coming on to come talk to us about about D2 and about your time and the league and things like that. And we will continue to see you out there on Tuesdays.
No doubt. It's fun. We always appreciate seeing you guys out there. It's always fun seeing you on the schedule. I think last season we gave you guys a little bit of a run for your money in one of our games before you ran away with it. A couple seasons ago, we got that win against you guys. So we'll see this season. Fingers crossed, schedules work out, D1 versus D2. Or D1 versus D3, as you would like to think of it.
I'm not gonna let that one go, man.
Oh man!
This was fun. Thank you, guys.
You should make a T-shirt of that. You should make a T-shirt with that.
Should.
It's so funny.
I'll buy a T-shirt of that.
If they beat us, you have to cross out.
On.
If they beat us, you have to cross out the D3 and put D2 on it.
Oh no, you gotta switch. You gotta switch the logos. You gotta put us.
Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you, Donald. Appreciate you again being on here, and good luck this season. And obviously, we're gonna be seeing you guys plenty more times this year.
Thank you. It was fun. See you guys soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Donald LeCompte, for joining us on the show. And as always, we appreciate everybody who's on here, like we did with Will just a few moments ago. But back here after being with Donald LeCompte, and obviously we talked about the history between the two of you a little bit, and just where it's kind of been going ever since. And obviously, it must be nice to get those wins, being around in the league for such a long time.
Yeah, former teammate for a little while. Had some good talks. It's funny. I mean, I've known about it for a while, but it's funny the way it works with his former teammate Jeff Roboto and Tommy Hernandez, our current teammate, playing with each other on the same team and things like that. So it's fun to see that. It's good. It's good overall to be able to talk to guys like that. I know he didn't have the most time because he's busy and has an actual life, unlike us. But it's good to get him for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely true to definitely get a guy like that. I mean, obviously he's busy, and we try to get Ryan Miller a few times on here as well. He's also kind of been busy with his life as well, and obviously he's been around the country doing work and stuff.
We'll get him on for the future.
Eventually we will. I mean, we should. He's one of the OG people. That's kind of the reason why we did stuff like this, and also, I mean, one of the first people I met on the LA Wolves of OC technically. So that's another thing. Yeah. So eventually, but obviously the big story of the day here is Division 1, and that is the top 4 teams in the Orange League making it to the playoffs. So those 4 games to start off with is the Trash Pandas taking on OC Wolves of LA, and then obviously LA Wolves of OC versus Beach City Bombers. Probably one of the most anticipated matchups that I think anybody was probably talking about the entire weekend. Not trying to put us on an island here, but I think if you understand the history and the way things have been kind of just been going and leading up to this point, then kind of a big deal in terms of series.
I'd say it was more popular than the MLB opening day.
Damn, that's a big compliment right there, man. Shit, bigger than the Jets flying over and people holding the flag out and sold out crowds at stadiums. Shit.
I mean, if you can get us a stadium, we could sell it. No.
We tried to do that a few times. Yeah, we tried to get some people out here. Obviously, we have the number one fans is the Hayden family, and they've at least one of your members of the family has shown up to at least almost every World Series game that we've ever been in, right?
Yeah. Where's your family? Is your family ever going to show up, or?
They're too busy doing stuff.
No.
I guess technically Ethan would be a guy that's been out there a few times, but obviously he's played with us in some of those World Series games, and then
it doesn't really count if you're in the league.
That's also true. But yeah, if you followed it a lot, and just the way kind of things went, it kind of went crazy and haywire, through the first couple of games and whatnot. But before we get to them, let's talk about the Trash Pandas and the OC Wolves of LA. The situation, though, because we mentioned it earlier, is that they were missing a few guys for OC Wiffles, and that would be James Lee and Ethan Lee, who weren't available to be there on the Tuesday when they played, the Monday they played their game, so they were absent. So we had Ethan Raffman and the Kuraz family there playing those games, but it sounded like they put up somewhat an interesting fight throughout some of those games, even down. Basically their best players there. So I don't know. What did you think about just hearing about? Because obviously Ethan Raffman came after and discussed a lot about what happened in those games. But what did you think about just the fact that they were even able to put up a pretty decent fight against a team that is touted to be one of the World Series contenders?
I mean, given the fact how good the Trash Pandas had been during this regular season, I'm very proud of the group that has been able to play with each other the last couple seasons, and the group that I've formed, and the fact that they were close to this game. I mean, you're missing your ace pitcher and you're missing your other captain. Things can be tough. Ethan Raffman did step up. He did good on the mound in the first inning. David Kuros, as we'll talk about later, relief pitcher of the year, had some good pitching in the first game as well. But overall, OC Wolf was able to get some tough situations, as we'll talk a little bit about with Blake. But overall, at the end of the day, Trash Pandas were able to get the job done. OC Wolf was just not quite able to get that first win. And then it looked like all the gas kind of went out after that first game, which I'm not mad at at all. I mean, you missing a couple guys like that, it can be tough to be able to get those to be able to consistently keep games close and things like that. So the next game was 25-2 or 25-3, something like that. It was worth talking. I think it was very tough for a team to knock the Trash Pandas out in the playoffs, anyways. But at least the OC Wolves gave it a good fight the first game. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, I think we could talk about it a couple of times. It's also just if James Lee was probably present, and then obviously Ethan, he was also there, things would have been different. Ethan Raffman even mentioned it. If they had another extra guy in a certain spot, then they probably would have been able to stop the ball in the infield per se, or wherever they were hit. So that's just that dilemma of just what happens when you're down a few guys. It would be convenient to have an extra guy there, but unfortunately that's just not the case here.
Yeah, and I think that was some of the talk from Ethan Raffman saying they could have possibly won game one if they just had like an Ethan Lee or a James Lee just be a body there to be able to stop some of those ground balls to the opposite side, because you need one guy in the outfield, one guy in the infield, things like that. But overall wasn't things could have been worse, especially that in that first game. But I'm glad as a biased standpoint for being the the unofficial captain of the OC Wiffles, I'm glad things were relatively close between those two teams. At least for the first game, I'm glad it wasn't a total wipeout, because the OC Wiffles did overall have a good season, making it into that D1 playoffs, getting that 4 seed, and that one, and with a couple weeks left, they were a game ahead and being in that 2 seed. So, unfortunate way for them to end, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that is true, and I mean, I'm sure they'll get a second chance at it this summer season. It's still kind of the same couple guys. They do have one extra free agent guy who's walking in there as well. Interesting dude. It seems like he's a Division III baseball player from Whittier, so it would be interesting just to see how he's able to kind of jump into the fold here, and with a young team and whoever these guys are, and obviously they're not the same as a Division III baseball player, but hey, I mean, I guess you'll take that type of talent from anywhere, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, some rosters need to be finalized. We'll see if anything potentially switches up, but we'll see what no James Lee for the future of the OC Wiffles could be. Could be very interesting. We'll see how they're able to fill that huge gap. The Rookie of the Year is first year, Cy Young winner his second year, and we'll talk about what awards he won or didn't win later on after Blake.
Yeah, and hopefully, maybe eventually he'll be able to come back. I know he's going to get his driver's license soon, and I know that was an issue. It's just like trying to get him down to the field, and obviously his dad had to pick him up from the field and whatnot, but yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the big anticipated one, and this one was as hectic as it can get. The LA Whistles OC taking on the Beach City Bombers. Former teammate and Jordan Drexler on the other side of the field, and then obviously you have our group meshing together with newer players like Tommy Hernandez, who's just coming in there. We've had our issues in terms of just having people there. The first game, it was actually just the three of us, you, me, Tommy Hernandez. In this series, and it kind of kicked off with a bang, essentially.
So game one, Monday night, LA Whistles took the first game, 18-12. A lot of run scoring here. LA Whistles, I think we're able to get started pretty quickly. I think the first three. We'll start off with 3 runs right away in the first inning with a Stephen Hayden 3-run home run, and things just kept going from there. And Steven had a pretty good outing on the mound the first game. He didn't allow too many runs. There were some runs given up by the second pitching of Justin and Tommy. But at the end of the day, there were a couple good plays in the outfield, a couple good catches from Steven and Justin while Tommy was pitching, able to hold the score, and just able to bend not break. That was kind of the motto of this game for the LA Whistles. They were able to bend not break. At one point, LA Whistles, I believe they were trailing by 8, and then after the 4th inning, all of a sudden they were leading by 4. So the offense was cooking for Tyler Moore that night. OC were seeing him really well, and ended up taking up a 6-run victory. Although it didn't feel like a 6-run game victory, it was a much closer game than what that score showed. The OC ended up taking that victory here in game 1.
Yeah, big deal indeed, and this game took a lot longer than it should have, and that's what the time kind of carried over a little bit, and then we were getting right into that second game. By the time it's like almost 7:40, 7:50 or whatever at that time, and we're like, we have to get whatever 3 games through, and if Beach City Bombers get to that third game, then we're gonna have some real issues here.
It's gonna well, I mean, we'll talk about some of the issues right now.
Yeah, the second game indeed is just kind of where that kind of kicks off, and that second game kind of was also super close again, and we saw the talent of both Jordan Drexler and a couple guys like Charlie and Tyler Moore come out there, and then obviously the other issue is just like trying to figure out that second pitcher again for the LOS of OC, but Beach City Bombers pretty much prevail here, and I think both sides were just pretty much tired at the conclusion of both of these games at the end of the day, and then we had a dilemma to kind of just settle here, because the issue was like, now we're it's a 1-1 series, but unfortunately the lights are about to go off, so we have to figure out like what do we do in terms of schedule wise. Like, what do we play tomorrow? Do we play on the weekend, right? Because obviously Beach City has to play their Purple League games, and we had Will here earlier just talking about how like crazy that was, and obviously the story would be if we played it on a Tuesday, it had to be the fact that Beach City Bays would either have to win in 2 or lose in 2, basically.
Yeah, well, okay, I mean, there was a lot packed in there. Let's just take it one at a time for a second.
Yeah.
It felt like you were going a little ahead of schedule.
I'm trying to make everybody stressed out. Like, we were stressed out that whole, like time just trying to figure things out.
I got some stuff to do. I mean, so I'm stressed out already. Yeah, I mean, this game, a little bit lower scoring here. You know, what the LA Wolves sometimes lack in that second pitcher, Beach City Bombers were able to find with their number 3 arm with Charlie Phillips. Charlie Phillips pitching more in this game in replacement of Tyler Moore and doing pretty well on the mound. Had a couple scoreless innings for himself. Kept the game the scores and the bats of the LA Wolves low. And at the end of the day, LA Wolves bottom of the 6th had a chance to win it. We're up. I mean, we're down by 2. Runner on third, 2 outs. Steven at the plate. 3-2 pitch. Steven fouls it off for. I don't know if it was a foul ball or a ground ball. Either it doesn't matter. It was an out either way. And the Beach City Bombers hold on to come back in Game 2 with a score of 11-9. So this series is now. Excuse me. This series is now tied at 1 apiece. You know, both these games took over an hour. I think the first game was like an hour 15, something like that. The next game was like an hour 7 minutes, something along those lines. So already at that point, it was already 9:10. And at that point in which we were playing, I mean, we weren't going to finish a game in 35 minutes, especially with the shortest game so far being an hour and 7 minutes. So we had some talks. We had to figure some stuff out with the guys' availability and things like that. But to try to finish off this game 3 and finish off this series.
Yeah, and funny fact, all of us kind of actually showed up that Tuesday. Like, Jordan was there, you, me, Tommy were just sitting in the stands, kind of waiting, watching. That's why we were able to watch the other games that were happening, especially even the Purple League too, because we were kind of just paying attention to, you know, are we going to play today or are we not going to play today? It was just a matter of whether the teams were going to win in 2 or lose in 2, and unfortunately for us, like they went through 3 games, and but for them, they were able to get a Purple League World Series win there, so props to them. But we would eventually move this to a Sunday after, you know, trying to figure out the schedules and everything like that, and this would be like in the afternoon over at Tustin Sports Park, and we all met up for what was basically to be a very eventful day. Field conditions were interesting. It's a dirt field opposed to a turf field, so the ball kind of rolls a little different, and plus we had a pretty big breeze out there at the field at Tustin Sports Park.
Where do we have dirt or turf?
Huh? Oh, I'm thinking of just like the other fields in general. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
So I mean, everyone knows the Great Park Field is like a very nice, clean grass. Was where we were playing. Where we're at for this Tustin Sports Park. If anyone remembers, was there for that day of the fall 2023
All-Star.
No, sorry, it was the fall 2022 All-Star game at Tustin Sports Park. That's where we were playing, except a little bit further down the field. Some uneven grass. You had some wind blowing. You had some mud piles there because it had been raining recently, as it seems to rain every single weekend for whatever reason in the past like 2 months. It's stupid, but I could go on about that for days. But yeah, that's what happened. We ended up completing this on Sunday. Ended up making it work to where we both had the same rosters as Sunday, as that Monday game, but we were able to get started here with Game 3.
That's right. We're getting started here with Game 3. The win becoming a huge factor here in this game, and once again, it's just 3 of us, and no Dominic Caroni available. He had some injury issues from when he was hitting out the gym, and we just gave him a little bit of that rest.
Swole.
Yeah, he's a big guy, and he needed it. But anyways, just the fact that this game went all the way down to the wire, it was just an exchange back and forth all the way through, and some pretty important plays, some close plays. On both sides of the ball, and especially for myself, like there was a few times where I had to go get some home runs out there, and some of them were just out of reach because the wind was becoming a huge factor. It was blowing towards the pitcher, so the ball was pretty much traveling farther than what you typically would see out there. I mean, I wouldn't say very close to like the spring 2023 like divisional / championship game type of win, but like almost enough to where if you hit the ball just enough, it'll carry pretty far out in the field. And there was one play towards the end of the game where I had to go get one from Jordan Drexler, kind of kept the game within one, and it kind of came down to the wire between with Jordan Drexler on the mound and Stephen Hayden, bomber that tied it up, and then eventually it came down to Tommy Hernandez to secure the win and give us the walk-off win against the Beach City Bombers. And as close as in high scoring as this series was, it was kind of the crazy capper that this entire series kind of just needed, it felt like.
Yeah, so through all of that, did you tell the final score? Or,
oh yeah, the final score was 16-15.
You're saying a lot. I feel like you're getting that. Sometimes you just keep going on and on. It's like, yeah, what was the score?
Oh, I'm losing my mind here. It's like it's pretty late. We're recording this right now. But anyways, yes, the final score was 16-15.
I'll take it over and go through it a little bit here. But
go ahead.
So I mean, you talked about some of the conditions. It wasn't nearly as bad as that spring 2023 playoffs that day. Some of the guys, like the Wise Guys, the Diablos, or Purple Huskies, happen to be listening. It wasn't those kind of conditions, but it wasn't the most favorable for a pitcher. The wind's blowing against you, so you have to try to adjust your pitches and be able to throw. You have to be able to try to throw a little harder without throwing too much over the limit to be able to get into the zone, stuff like that. The ball was traveling as the game went on. So you would see some home runs from both teams that normally would not be caught. I mean, some normally would be caught that end up dropping here. Beach City did. This early on, LA Wolfos got off to a lead. Then around the fourth inning, Beach City just started breaking away with it. Excuse you. Yeah, Beach City started getting away with it. I believe at one point they had an 8-run lead. I believe it was 15-7 at one point. And then we went to the bottom of the fifth inning. Tyler Moore was having some better stuff on this day. Jordan was good, but Tyler Moore was having a much better day than he did on the previous Monday. But all of a sudden, bottom of the fifth with 2 outs, we'll also see 7 straight batters score, do either singles, walks, or home runs, bringing them all in, making it a 15-14 ball game going into the top of the 6th in favor of the Beach City Bombers. And a big thing here for Game 3 was the fact that LA Wolfos did have the home field advantage, because the home team did win all 3 of these games, and all of them relatively close games. Those, as Justin mentioned, a little catch from him in the outfield. Normally would not even make it to the third cone, but because the wind kept pushing out. And then we got to the top of the bottom of the 6th inning, I should say. LA Wolfos chasing 1. Steven leads off the inning with a home run. Justin gets out somehow, but it couldn't be me. And then Tommy Hernandez, I believe it might have been a 1-1 count or something along those lines, or 0-1, ends up hitting a shot to right field to win the game 16-15. The Wolfos even though they were the higher seed here, I'd say it was a little bit of an upset.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Just the fact that they have guys like Tyler and Jordan on that team is certainly, they had more guys than us as well. They had plenty of pitching to do so, and I think we've been looking at their team for a while. Like, this is the team that is built to be a super team, and they have the tools to do it. And we've talked about it before the recording and stuff. Just the fact that maybe they definitely could have had the upper hand against us plenty of times during this series, but just to be able to keep it close like that with us having 3 guys is it was a tough fight all the way through, a gritty fight.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the better series we've seen Not quite up, not quite going to beat that spring 2023 season for me personally, but it was definitely one of those. It was right up there in terms of how the day went and going across multiple games. Facing a pitcher you don't face too much in Jordan Dressler because I mean obviously he had been on my team. I know a lot of the stuff he does because I'd helped teach him a good number of stuff, but things can change throughout the course of a new season. So a very tight win here for the LA Wiffles. LA Wiffles able to bend not break here in this game as well, and LA Wiffles are once again for the fourth time in 5 seasons heading back to the World Series and third time in a row, I should say.
Actually, kind of crazy, just the sequence that continues to happen here and the pattern that we're seeing. But anyways, here's the...
plus the Summer Classic as well.
That too. This is actually going to be the third time that these two World Series teams meet, actually. The Trash Pandas versus LA Wilson of OC. Blake can tell you plenty about that when we get him on here in a second. But this is that series that, we've seen so many times in 3 seasons back to back. And to the big surprise, this series actually went to 3 games rather than 2 this time, and much closer fight in the first couple of games, and but a different story here to be told. In fact.
Yeah, it was. Different from the we'll talk about it more with Blake once he's on here as well. Different from the previous times. The Trash Pandas were the higher seed going into this playoff run. Previous 2 times, LA Wiffles were the home team for the fall and the winter season, for Game 1 especially. So, Trash Pandas getting that advantage of being the home team here for Game 1. End up taking that first game victory 8-6. Score looks a little closer than it may have been. Also, did score a few runs there in the top of the 6th inning. The Trash Pandas able to come out on top. Next game, a very close game between these teams. Very low scoring. Not one you normally see between these 2 teams, but 3-1 victory in favor of the LA Wiffles of OC over the Trash Pandas. Bend, don't break, keep the score low. Tommy Hernandez hit all 3 RBIs, a 2-run homer and a solo home run in this game. And then for the LA Wiffles in Game 3, things kind of fell out of their hands. Literally also, this in the first inning with bases loaded, 2 outs. Ryan Swanson hits a pop up to center field. Wind takes it out a little bit. Justin dives for it and goes off his hands. So it literally kind of fell off their hands. 4-0 right away, and from there on, the Trash Pandas kept on pouring the runs. I believe they scored in every inning. Ended up taking that game 10-3 over the other Wolfsville C for the Trash Pandas to get their revenge. 3rd time's the charm of the World Series to be able to beat the other Wolfsville C in the playoffs. So a little quick rundown of that. We'll get into more detail with this series as we talk with Blake, but. Very, very close series overall, and regardless, I think it was a great season for whoever won.
That is very true for both of the teams that kind of had to go through what they had to go through. But let's save some of the details here. Let's just get Blake on here and start discussing this thing away.
Before we get Blake on here, we can talk about how we saw our season overall, since we don't really we're not really going to go into our side of stuff. For the LA Wolves, obviously we lost Jordan Dressler, we lost Dustin Staggs, we brought in guys like Tommy Hernandez, Austin Cutter, when Cutter came back into this. How did you see our season overall, even though we lost the World Series in the 3rd game?
I think definitely better than expected. Just the fact that we had to. I think most people thought Tommy was kind of a mystery and just how he was going to be able to adjust, because obviously he's coming from a fast pitch style of play, and we seen a glimpse of him in that SoCal Winter Classic tournament that we had earlier in the year, and he's a good hitter, and I wasn't expecting him to hit that many home runs this season, but that's exactly what he did.
Well, yeah.
But I thought he did a great job, and then the pitching was actually looking pretty good for him. And for us, we've had some issues, just getting guys to come out here, but we've been able to manage to put a team together that kind of still was up to the challenge and got all the way to the World Series. And I think both of us were kind of thinking there's probably maybe not a big chance for us to make it that far, just with the amount of guys that we have. And obviously we don't have Jordan or Dustin anymore, and it's a different story. This is a new year, new league, and I think better than expected, in my opinion. I think this is a season that we can definitely build off of if we get some more people through, or if we continue to play the way that we've been playing and just improve on the pitching and just figure out who's going to be that second pitcher. And I mean, even the third pitcher, if he's decent enough, then you can still throw him out there in case situations like we had in that series, in the World Series and the Championship Series. Like, we could definitely figure out who would be the more consistent guys to put in these scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it from the managerial standpoint, obviously we had won the previous 2 World Series and won the last 3 out of 4. If you want to include that Summer Classic, we won that one as well. So 4 out of the 5 trophies from the OC football season went to us, but a little ball hogs over here, I guess. But this season was a little bit of a rebuilding year for, in the way I saw it. Before the whole bombshell of Jordan leaving the team and telling me live on the podcast without telling me at all before, and that was entirely live. If people don't believe me, people thought that was fake or scripted. That was unexpected, and I'm not going to get too much more into it. But the goal is to try to be able to find some new guy to be able to step into that role. I know Justin had pitched in the past. Tommy pitches in his SoCal and fast pitch, and so for him a little bit of adjustment to try to get to up to speed here or down to speed here, I should say. Both those guys are still a work in progress. So my goal is to try to not throw more, and just to try to throw less, and I ended up throwing more due to just trying to figure some stuff out. But overall, finishing as the 2 seed, finishing 11-3. We were the only team to beat us and the Trash Pandas. Were the only team to beat everyone else in the league. We gave the Trash Pandas their only loss. We held them off from our own little record of being undefeated the whole season. We beat them. We were the only team to beat them at all. I mean, we went 3-2 against them. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. Tommy showed out offensively. We've seen some hitting numbers, some home run numbers from him and Michael Haskett that we hadn't seen since the summer 2022 season in terms of how many they're hitting and things like that. If and when Jordan comes back, it's not going to be this season. Yes, the summer season he is locked on to the Beach City Bombers as they add guys like Tyler Moore onto their team. But if and when he comes back, that OC team, if they can keep on to guys like Tommy Hernandez and obviously Justin and Steven will be there, being the main 2 guys there at OC. That team could be dangerous. So for a rebuilding year to make it to Game 3 of the World Series, obviously in the moment you want that. You think about stuff you could do different, but when you step back at it, I'm not mad at all. I'm pretty happy. I think we exceeded my own expectations. We exceeded my expectations when he beat the Beach City Bombers. To be honest, I thought the Beach City Bombers had the best chance of winning the World Series, and maybe they would have had they beaten us, and maybe they could have beaten Trash Pandas. But it's one of those. It's one of those, as the Trash Pandas said after the World Series. It's one of those you never know. What would happen if the Trash Pandas didn't win the World Series? We'll never find out because they beat us in 3 games. But overall, I'm pretty happy with stuff and looking forward to the summer and things beyond with different guys, different tournaments, stuff like that. But yeah, that's what I got to say for the LOC side. If you don't like it because we're talking about us, then yeah.
Talk to HR.
Tell me.
Oh wow, that's a big statement there. Well, I think you put in some good points there, and I think enough talk about us. Let's go bring Blake now. I think he's been waiting long enough, so let's get him on here. Let's get Blake Fitzgerald, the not the captain of the Trash Pandas, but indeed the MVP himself. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have a special guest here in Blake Fitzgerald, the Spring 2024 MVP of the season, joining us here from the Trash Pandas. Not the captain of the team, but certainly does seem like it when he holds the clipboard. But he's here joining us here today. Obviously, you guys have won a Division I World Series. You guys have been trying multiple different times. This is the 3rd time in a row that you guys made it to the World Series. You finally did it. Blake, welcome to the show. How are you feeling today, sir?
Feeling good. Thanks for having me on, guys. And excited to finally get the World Series win that we've been looking for the past couple of years. But it was a great season, and finally broke through.
Certainly did, and you guys have been trying to break through twice in the same year, playing against us in the World Series, and then obviously this year being that third rematch once again. Obviously our team looks a little different because one of our guys decided to go join the other team, Trader, and we had a different look team this season, so, but... On the other side, like, you guys really kicked it into high gear this season, nearly went undefeated going into the playoffs. Obviously, that one loss is because of us, I believe, and you guys finished the season 13-1, but then you guys went in here, had this mentality like you guys were going to take this thing all the way. You guys have two award winners on your team, and that's Michael Haskell, who won a big award this season, was one of the biggest bats on your guys' team. Mo was excellent this season. You yourself, the pitching was actually insane, and then obviously you getting MVP is also a big thing as well. It feels like everything kind of just fell in place for this season for you guys.
Yeah, we all kind of had a great season in our own ways, with myself and Mo and Michael kind of handling the pitching side of it. And, Ryan and Michael both had 20 plus homers. Andrew had, I think all of us were right around 14 to 24 homers, I think it was. So everybody had a really good season when it the OC Wiffles in the first series, and then had you guys in the World Series. So, all great games, and, ended up being able to come out on top.
Certainly did. Yeah, you guys finally get your first Division I title here. Obviously, the first season you guys came in was in the summertime, if I'm correct, right? And that was your first, like, you guys made the first playoff appearance as well, and then you beat us, making it into those playoffs in the first game. So, both of our teams kind of have this long history of playing each other in these, like, playoff games. So, to be able to play against, some really good, obviously you guys are former baseball players as well. It's a lot to just see you guys year in and year out with the seasons coming by, and obviously this won't be the last, right?
No, absolutely not. I know we'll have more battles, regular season, playoffs. It's always a fun time when we get to play you guys, no matter what the situation is. And, more times than not, it results in a pretty high leverage game, and, comes down to the wire a lot of the time. So it's always very fun.
Certainly is, and we've gone back and forth multiple times. But in terms of just how this season went, because we talked about your name plenty of times about the MVP conversation, actually the past couple seasons as well. Now you finally get the MVP. How does it feel to be considered one of technically you definitely are one of the best in the league, but to finally get a piece that tells you that, hey, I earned this, I'm the MVP this season. How does it feel to be able to get something like that?
Yeah, it feels good. Kind of felt like it finally came together for me. This year, last season, kind of struggled at the plate, but was able to do it on the mound a little bit more so. This year was able to, hit for some more power. Had a good average season from a batting average and slugging standpoint. And think that trickled throughout our whole lineup. A lot of why we won games was the fact of being able to, 1 through 5, string together hits, string together big innings, and then myself, Michael, and Mo were able to kind of shut it down on the mound.
Definitely were so, and you did back and forth. It definitely went this season, and obviously you guys were definitely the top dog up there. We've been talking about it for a long time on the podcast, just looking at those projections and seeing you guys kind of sweep through the league as the games went by, and then you guys were putting it together, and then Haskell is just flipped the switch, it seemed like, this season, and he was in a race with our guy Tommy Hernandez and all the way down to the wire as well. But then you guys finally put it together in the playoffs, got it all the way to the World Series, and then you guys are finally here, which is great. But I'm gonna give it to Steven though, because I know he wants to go through the specifics of just like the games themselves and just like how the playoffs went and everything, and then some other questions we like to ask on the show. So Steven, please take it away.
You can keep going as long as you keep going as long as you want to. I'll tell you when to pass it over.
You want okay?
Up to you. All right, well, I can go right now. It's up to you.
I mean, I feel like just because you're the captain, you're the guy who went through the operations of just getting everybody through the playoffs into the World Series, and then obviously,
All right, fine then.
yeah,
All right, fine.
yeah. Why not? Why not?
If you want to be that way. Obviously, very good to have you on, Blake. We've had Michael Houskip on here on the past, but I've been looking to get you on as well, but just waiting for the right time, and I can't think of a much better time than right now. I mean, starting off. I mean, you got. I mean, let's start from the beginning here and build it up all the way to this season and things like that. How did you and your group kind of find out about this league and like come out to join?
Yeah, so kind of went down to Andrew got us kind of interested in the league. Mo and I have known each other for a very long time. Andrew and Ryan are both my cousins, so obviously we've known each other quite a while too. And then Michael's one of their lifelong friends too. So it's just been, we all grew up playing ball together. We all grew up playing wiffle ball on family trips and in backyards and wherever we could find it. So thought it sounded like a pretty cool opportunity to do something we'd never done before. Came in and struggled a bit the first season, but still were able to make it to the playoffs, after we figured it out a little bit on the mound. But, our team's strong suit's always been on the hitting side of it. And, we knew once we could string together the pitching side of it, we'd find a good amount of success, here at OC Wiffle Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we talked about it with Michael Houskip as well in the past, but your guys' first game in the league here was against us actually. I believe it was something like 19-5 or something like that. I just remember like running away in the top of the first inning, Mo hitting a 2-run homer off me. I was like, okay, these guys can hit. I just had to see what their pitching was like, and the start of that first season, it wasn't the best. I believe Michael Houskip was really the only kind of guy that was thrown at the time, but as the season kept going, you guys just getting better and better. I think you guys went from like 1-6 to 7-7 to finish off that regular season, just sneaking into the playoffs. And then, you guys knocked off the defending champions in the wild card round as well in an 8-inning game, 3-2. So, just the improvement from the beginning of the summer season to the end of the summer season was a great. It was very cool to see a team grow like that quickly, because I'm not sure we've ever really seen a team grow that much during their first season. Baseball, those baseball lines of all you guys shared, I would think definitely helps out.
Yeah, it's been really fun kind of learning how to get better at wiffle ball. Like we've all played baseball our whole lives, but the hitting side isn't too different, but the pitching side's definitely something that takes a little bit of time to learn. So from the get-go, we all had the feeling that the second we figured out how to pitch and could limit ourselves, even from the beginning we were giving up 15-20 runs a game, even to limit that to 5 to 10. We knew we could score enough to win some ball games.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys started off with a great summer season. Being able to make it to the playoffs in your first season and beat our team was a very good accomplishment. Unfortunately, you did run into the team that would win the championship and the Beach City Bombers, but I think overall that season was a good first season and a good foundation for you guys who were going to go into these fall and winter seasons. Fall and winter season. I remember that fall season. I think you guys might have finished under 500. I think you guys were a 5-7 team, but held on to the 4 seed. And then you guys matched up versus the versus the Purple Huskies, I should say. And took them by surprise. I remember when we had Joey Ponder on here. He was like, yeah, that team could hit. They took us by surprise with some of their pitching and defense. And you guys had the earlier wild card game, so you guys were already warmed up. And you guys ended up beating nearly an undefeated team into the World Series. How did that fall season feel for you guys getting to that World Series for the first time?
Yeah, it was kind of the first thing to check off the box, is getting there. We a great series. Felt like we were playing well at the end of the year and into the playoffs. We're able to beat the Purple Huskies in the first round, and ended up making it to our first World Series. Came up short in the World Series, of course, but we definitely learned a lot that season and learned what we needed to do better, learned what we would need to keep doing to win these games, and we're able to kind of carry that and build off of the fall season into the winter, and now into the spring as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the winter, you guys' record improved. I think you guys finished like 10-3 or so, or 9-4, somewhere along those along those lines. You guys beat you guys were for the 3 seed going into that playoffs, where you beat the Shitty Bombers in 2 games, and then same thing with the winter season. I mean, same thing as the fall season, where you play the other Wiffles of OC again, and there were a couple. There was a couple close games in each of those World Series, but unfortunately for you guys, I fell just a little bit short. What did anything feel different for you between those fall and winter seasons? I mean, it was the same result for you guys, but did that feel different to you guys just throughout the whole season and kind of and the way you guys went about it?
Yeah, it felt definitely like we were getting closer, to what we needed to be doing. We had Ryan Swanson join us that season, or he joined us in the fall of last year, but, he wasn't with us the first, season that we played. So having him, be in and be able to hit and show up and play incredible defense like he was able to, we still had Mo and Michael and Andrew and myself, they're pitching and hitting. So even though it was the same result as the fall season, definitely we're getting closer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember telling Michael, even after the fall World Series, it's like, yeah, it's only a matter of time until you guys get one of these. And it seemed right away from the spring season, from when things started. You guys started hot and went real quick right away. Stayed through that whole season. Obviously, as Justin mentioned, the whole team was hitting. I was looking at those stats here. Mo had your lowest batting average of 279. Other than that, you had a 378 from Ryan Swanson. You yourself had a 447. Andrew with a 400, and Michael Huskup really had a breakout season with a 518 average, and then you're continuing to work on new stuff and improve stuff on the mound. What was kind of the thought process going into that spring season in terms of is this our season to do it and things like that as the season kept going along?
Yeah, we all kind of came into the season with, a little bit of a chip on our shoulder. We knew we had a really good winter season, and obviously just came up short. But took a lot of good things away from that. We were hitting well, we were pitching well, and we're able to carry that into the spring season. Like you said, started off really hot. I think we were 6 or 7-0. And then ended up losing to you guys in the regular season, but we're able to kind of carry that through the rest, and really was able to end up. I think we ended up like 13-1 or something like that in the regular season. Swept the first round of the playoffs, and then had a 3-game series in the World Series. So it was a
going third. Yeah, going 13-1, I'd say that's pretty hot throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
to be quite honest,
yeah, and like you said, it really came down to just everybody, contributing, and like you saw, we hit the ball a lot. I mean, we hit 80 home runs last season. It was a tale of lots of home runs with guys on base, and we walked a good amount. We hit a lot of home runs and were able to pitch well enough to win a lot of games.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these home run numbers are kind of ridiculous. You have some teams who didn't even get over 30 home runs, and here you are with 80. I think the next closest team was was our team with 59. So 21 home run difference during the regular season between first and second place. I'm not sure I've seen much of anything like that in terms of the dominance the team had during the regular season. But sometimes it's just one game, one game just happens to not go your way, and sometimes we just get a little lucky with the game. So that's kind of how I think that regular season game went. But and I've been looking at the website here, just going kind of through. Despite you guys have, a lot of you guys have accumulated a good number of awards throughout the season. I mean, your first season, the summer 2023, you had Mo Wright win the Rookie of the Year. The fall season, you had Andrew Swanson win the Manager of the Year, and then obviously this season you had yourself win MVP, and Blake and Michael. I'm getting names confused here. Yeah, Michael win the Michael was the Hank Aaron. Yeah, because Tom was Silver Slow. Yeah, Michael was Hank Aaron. So you guys just keep improving, getting better and better. Obviously with you winning MVP and stuff, and one of the tighter MVP races we've seen in this league, as we were talking about in the past. You were my pick to win MVP, at least in the preview. But how did that feel to be able to come away with your first award like that, and I believe your first award in this league?
Yeah, first one as a whole. So we've had a good amount of awards, like you mentioned, throughout the seasons that we've been here. But yeah, it felt great to kind of get that monkey off our back, and the awards were great, but I know all of our focus was in that World Series. So it was a great byproduct of our success this year. I know being able to hit and pitch every single game for us and contribute in the way that I was able to was felt really good. And hopefully we can continue that on into the summer season too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, congratulations for your MVP. As throughout the podcast, we'll talk about the awards a little bit later on, but obviously with an MVP winner right here, we congratulate you. It was a close race between a few people, even your teammate Michael Haska, but your combination of pitching and hitting, and the fact that you guys only lost one game and finished in first place, put it over the top for me. But let's get into these playoffs here a little bit. So obviously you guys being the one seed, you had to go up against the OC Wiffles with no James Lee and Ethan Lee. You guys end up winning that in 2 games, but from what I heard, that first game was relatively close. What did you think about that first round?
Yeah, the first game was probably a little bit closer than we would have liked it to be. The first game we just didn't hit like how we are capable of. We left a lot of runners on base. I think we had 3 or 4 innings where we left the bases loaded. And only scored 1 or none in some innings. So that was kind of our mindset going into the second game. We were able to pull out the win in the first game there, but the kind of floodgates opened in the second game and ended up winning. I think it was like 25 to 2 or 3 or something like that. But it was great to be able to hit and then take that into the World Series, and hopefully continue hitting there. Was how we were looking at it.
Yeah, I do remember seeing some lefty swings from some righty batters over there and things like that. That second game seemed like it got a little bit out of hand, but me speaking as a bias party, I'm just glad that first game was close for the sake of the OC Wiffles. Obviously, without James and Ethan, a game like that can be pretty tough. But just for those guys, I'm glad that series was close, as I talked about earlier on in the podcast. But obviously you guys move on relatively easy, and then you guys got to wait a little while to see who you guys are going to play, whether it's LA Wolves or Beach City Bombers. Did you have a kind of any idea who you thought might be moving, or you might be seeing in the World Series, or did you what were your thoughts on who you could play?
Yeah, it was kind of 50-50. I know, we were watching from the sidelines on game 1 and 2. I know those were both kind of games of opposites, with you guys splitting 1-1. So, and then kind of as the week went on, I know the game was played on Sunday. We were watching the updates on Instagram and kind of seeing where the chips were going to fall. Obviously seemed like the Bombers had a very strong first half of the game. We're up by a little bit and, had a high scoring game in the end, that ended in a walk-off for you guys. So it was exciting game, but, with kind of the Bombers and the LA Wiffles are both two very good teams. So it's always going to be a good game no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, I mean, our series between them, all three games are high scoring. Our lowest scoring game only had 20 runs in it, so a lot of offense. And not. I mean, there's some good pitching, but some teams would usually just pour on like 7-8 runs in an inning, in a big inning, things like that. But so we get back to again, right? We are where we are, the same place we've had for the previous two seasons, with Wiffles and Trash Pandas in there again. It's, you can't write it better, I guess. And then right away, Ryan Swanson starts off the leadoff home run, and from there you guys keep the bats going. You play defense, and you have good pitching when it's needed. You come away with a big 8-6 victory in Game 1. Given the fact you guys haven't won a World Series game before. What was that kind of feeling, being able to get that first game off, being able to come away with a win and kind of get that off your shoulders?
Yeah, like you said, it was probably the best way to start it off that we could have had with Ryan hitting a leadoff homer there for us. We came through with some timely hitting, and we definitely had some missed opportunities when it came to walking guys in or giving up some late runs in that 6th inning. But, we were able to come out on top in the first one. And, like you said, it's the first World Series win, over the last 2 years, or 2 seasons, I should say. But kind of got the monkey off our back in that one and was able to settle in a little bit more in Game 2 and 3.
Yeah, it just seemed like a weird atmosphere in general, kind of. We have the summer season going on, and here we are trying to finish up that spring season. It was kind of a weird atmosphere, but it was a big win. It was a big win for you guys. And my mind, kind of, whoever won that first game was going to probably walk away with it. But obviously you guys had a great start, but in that first game, the second game got a little tighter. Neither team's bats were working super well, except mainly. I think Tommy Hernandez had all 3 of our RBIs in game 2, as we come away the LA Wolves come away with a 3-1 victory. Little tougher result for you guys. Still a very close game, as their game 2s are always extremely close.
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it's like you said, game 2 was different from a lot of the games that we've played you guys in the past. Probably one of the lowest scoring games that we've ever had against you guys. We like you said, pitching to Tommy, it's always really tough, especially in those situations where there's, a runner on or something like that. But I think he had, a 2-run homer and a solo homer, if I'm remembering correctly. And, it was tough and just trying to figure out ways to get him out. And then we, I think, had a solo homer of our own. And that was kind of all of that. Pitching and defense was definitely the name of the game in game 2. And it was different to play one of those games against you guys, but definitely needed to kind of show us that, we can pitch and hold these guys to just 3 runs, which is something we can't say about, any other time that we've done that before.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird game, a weird game too. But that was fine. So if we get to a deciding game 3, you guys start off. You guys had a big first inning. Ryan Swanson back at it again with another deep ball to center field. Justin dives for it off his hands for a grand slam, and then from there you guys kind of took it. I believe you guys scored in every single inning of game 3. You and Mo were shutting things down on the mound, and ended up coming away with a 10-3 victory. What were the thoughts? What was kind of running through you guys' and the emotions as you guys got that final out?
Yeah, it was great. It was, everything that we've been looking for these past couple seasons. Like you said, we started off game 3 exactly how we needed to, with Ryan hitting that grand slam. And we knew that if we could get out to a lead, we'd give ourselves a little bit of cushion to be able to, pitch like we know we can. But also, if we do make a couple mistakes because we're going against a really good team, that we're still going to be on the right side of it. So, the pitching and defense came alive for us. I know Ryan Swanson had a couple amazing plays, in the game 3 there with a couple diving plays and things like that. And then, Mo had an awesome game 3 from a pitching standpoint. Was mixing up his pitches really well. Got through the first 3 innings, and then, I was able to come in and have success like I've been doing this year. So I was happy with our performance overall.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a great World Series, and it was said. I believe Ryan Swanson was given the World Series MVP for that. I mean, not as nice as regular season MVP, but it's still as not as nice as the one you got out there. I believe you got an actual physical award for that one versus World Series MVP. Is just kind of name, right, Justin?
Yeah, those are always important. You gotta be able to take those moments in the smallest and be able to make it bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't get this award for free. I got it. Bigger. Yeah. Even though there's like an asterisk, right? Because technically it was just like a bunch of LA Wiffles / OC Wiffles of LA guys, and then like Anthony was there, so like you can discount it a little bit. But like,
okay. I was talking about World Series, but all right.
Oh, World Series. I mean that too. That also is a great thing too. Yeah, I got one of those, and I was against the.
As I say on the podcast, is when you get the Make-A-Wish kid, and you said,
okay, wait a minute, that's kind of messed up, man. I'm not crippled. I'm here. I'm fine. Like what?
You're just short.
Man, I didn't ask to be this way. My brothers apparently got those genes for whatever reason. So my brothers got those genes apparently. So unfortunately, they're the ones that are like 5'11", 5'10". No idea where they get them from. I think it's the food. So maybe I got fed the wrong thing or something. Who knows? But yeah, it's nice to at least get those.
I'm sorry to go down that tangent.
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I like to announce that I'm going to switch it to a different team. Sorry, Steve.
Oh, yes.
Well, we'd like to welcome you to the trash pan.
Yes.
Thank you. Can we get some trade talks going on? We'll take 2 bags of chips.
2 bags of chips. That's how much I'm worth. Wow. This is not the Blake Fitzgerald interview anymore. This is the roast Justin Lee interview now, man.
Yeah, the last World Series interview we had
yeah. Okay, I'm down for it. I'm ready.
Well, the last World Series interview, we had a guy leaving my team, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's very true. Not the first time it's happened, I guess.
You can cut that part in if you want to, Justin.
Oh no, I'm keeping that in, man. I'm keeping that in.
That's on a silver platter for me.
I'm keeping it in. I like it. Anyways.
Back in here.
Yeah.
Let me focus back in here.
Actually, I wanted to say something off of just the wins in general, because I noticed there was a little exchange between you and your cousins. Obviously, like one of those things was, I think you guys mentioned your grandma. You guys were taking a picture and a vid to shout it out to grandma. Because obviously, you know, we play these games and, you know, obviously, you know, we go out there Tuesdays, you're like, okay, we play a game and now we forget about it after that type of stuff. But like, obviously it meant something for you guys to be able to win win the World Series. So, you know, bouncing it off with what you guys said about, you know, winning it for grandma, or I think I'm saying that right, but like, what does that kind of mean for you guys to get this win in terms of that?
Yeah, you know, it's great. And for me, Ryan and Andrew, like, we grew up playing wiffle ball every single you know, time we were hanging out together. So whether it was family trips, whether it was, you know, in the street of their house or front of my house, you know, wiffle ball was always what we were doing. So just was really cool to finally get that win and, you know, take that picture, send to grandma and grandpa, and, you know, send it in the family group chat. And you know, it's cool to do that stuff with my cousins, and, you know, with Mo and Michael as well. You know, they've been some of our lifelong friends from, you know, back early Little League days. And you know, it's just a really cool group of guys to be able to do something like that with, and, you know, get out on Tuesday nights and do something really fun.
Certainly so. Sorry, I know Steven asked a question, so I'll let him ask what he was about to say, or whatever. Yeah.
I actually did kind of want to go down that direction a little bit. It's obviously cool to see family out there playing on the same team, but also the fact, you know, there are a good number of people switching around teams every time in between seasons and things like that, and teams going in and out. But it's seeing you guys and having basically that their same group out there each season, kind of growing closer and closer together, and being able to improve with each other is always a great thing to see. Obviously, a lot of you guys knew each other before. It's obviously, I think relationships were deep, and you got to see some guys more that you maybe wouldn't see more often without this Tuesday night event.
Yeah, you know, it's a great getaway. And you know, Anthony does a great job kind of setting everything up, running the whole show that we got going on here. So you know, this is going to be our 5th season playing, because summer and then fall, winter, spring, and then, you know, obviously summer this year. Looking forward to getting back after it this Tuesday night.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it kind of feels weird that some teams already played the summer, and here we are. We're just finishing up the spring, but that's the way it works, timing wise, with us having to finish our series, and some of your team not being available for last Tuesday. Things have worked out the way they were, and part of things working out the way they have for your team does have a lot to come down to you, and you finding that pitching. You know, once you started getting better on the mound, that's when your team really started to jump up there in terms of being in the World Series each season. Obviously, coming away with it this year. What's been some of the stuff that's really helped you be able to learn how to pitch in this style of league?
Yeah, you know, it's different than growing up pitching, and you know, obviously playing baseball my whole life. Pitching a wiffle ball is very different. You know, being able to throw specific pitches for strikes when you want them, and mix it up. You know, it's a lot more difficult, I would say, to kind of pick up and learn. But after those first couple seasons, we started to get more confident with, you know, mixing up pitches. And then you know, in the winter season last year, was able to, you know, add in a newer pitch with the drop ball, and, you know, mix in some risers and sliders and everything like that. And, you know, now having each of those available to go to when I need a strike or need a big out has been great. So you know, our pitching has definitely improved from where we started off a couple seasons ago. And, you know, I like to think that you know, we've all taken big leaps and bounds with Michael and Mo and myself, you know, kind of handling most of the pitching department.
Yeah, absolutely. You're a guy with a lot of baseball experience as well. I think that's be able to translate over to into wiffle ball a bit, definitely to start off with. But if you want to, give a little background on your baseball profile and your success before graduating and moving into the adult leagues.
Yeah. So growing up, I grew up playing baseball my whole life. Played little league and travel ball, kind of like everybody. And got to high school, went to Capo Valley High School here in Mission Viejo. Had a really awesome time there, and was able to come out with a CIF title my senior year of high school for baseball, which was incredible. Got to do that with a lot of my best friends who I still see every single day, and then was fortunate enough to go down and play college baseball at UC San Diego for 4 years. So it was great playing in the Big West there, playing against UC Irvine and Cal State Fullerton and Long Beach and all those schools that I grew up watching, and had some good success there, and got my degree, and now we're tearing it up in wiffle ball and the Cabo Men's Baseball League on Sundays. So got those two things going now. But.
Yeah, unfortunately, in Okaba, you never got to play me when I was on my with my team during the fall season. But because I was gone that weekend back in the fall. But yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird to think you're younger than both of us. I mean, I'm sure people would look at you and think like that they would think we're a little immature, is what I'm saying, Justin and I. They would think we're maybe a little younger, stuff like that. But I only said boo during that. I'm joking about the capo part. I was Justin and I, but we both were at Tesoro High School, so we saw capo a lot.
We didn't exactly have a great coaching situation when we were there. Like there was a lot of, let's just say, like nepotism, I guess. There was a lot of that. I don't know if we should keep this part in there, but there was a lot of that. Wait, are you telling me he's younger than us?
Yeah, he's a 2018 graduate.
What?
2018.
I'm just finding this out now. I thought this guy was like the ripe age of 26 or 27. This is insane.
23.
Wow.
Mature beyond his years.
Wow. Well, I guess you learn something new every day. I mean, I guess it's the beard here, man. Like, shoot. I thought these guys were I thought these guys had like wives and kids or something already. I thought Michael was like already like moving on to some crazy things. And wow, that's crazy. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Yeah, it was definitely great. We had a bunch of battles against Tesoro all throughout high school, and it was always a good game there, just like it is, to this day. I mean, Capo and Tesoro will always kind of go back and forth in that regard, and it was great playing at Capo, and like I said, was fortunate enough to carry that down to UCSD and play there for 4 years. COVID threw a little bit of a wrinkle in that, but had a great time throughout. So.
Absolutely, it's good to see. I mean, I was just looking up some of this stuff here. I knew Mo. You're younger than us. That's very interesting to know. So very cool.
And Mo played at Capo as well. He was a 17 grad, so he was there on the same. We played all together, and then now he's playing. Now we're back playing in men's league together too. So
nice. That's always good to see you guys like that from the same team, from the same high school team, still being around each other and still playing ball together and things, and even with ball and things like that together. It's always good to see. But my final question for you, obviously you guys were able to get it done. Third time's the charm for you guys in the World Series. What are you guys looking to do to be able to maintain to hold on to that World Series and possibly look to go back to back?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to a lot of the same things, this past season did for us. If we can pitch, if we can hit, we know our defense is going to be there when we need it. But, if we can limit the damage on the mound and continue to hit the ball out of the park like we were this year, that's going to be how we're going to be successful. So, I think with this season to follow up what we did last year would be incredible. With the offensive outburst, like we said earlier, with the 80 homers and, had Michael and Ryan both at 20 plus home runs this season. So just got to see if we can find more of that magic this year too.
Yeah, going to be very interesting to see. I know Beach City's trying to reload and trying to get Zach Moore back and trying to see what they can do to put themselves in the picture. So it's gonna be very interesting to see for the summer season. But back over to you, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we covered a lot in terms of wiffle ball content, and obviously me just finding out that you're right around the same age or younger, which is still crazy for me to think about. But it also kind of shows you like where the league kind of pretty much stands with most of the guys, especially like the D1. Like most of the guys, I understand in D1 is right around the same age, or maybe just a tad bit older. But you guys obviously come out. You guys, you're a group of people on the Trash Pandas. You guys known each other for a long time. We kind of talked about like just what it means to be able to be out here for your family. Being with your cousins, obviously, and just the mold that you guys have put together. Like, do you guys find it? Being here at OC Wiffle Ball, like you guys, there's something different about being a part of the league, or like, is there some way that you guys add meaning to being out there every Tuesday night for you guys?
Yeah, it's a great getaway for all of us. I mean, we all have jobs and other lives that go on throughout the rest of the week, but it's one of those things that we look forward to every Tuesday night. I know when Anthony sends out the schedule Sunday night, we're all texting about it, getting excited for the games on Tuesdays. And, it's one of those things that I think we'll be doing for the foreseeable future for sure. We finally got the one World Series, and see if we can't get a couple more along the way. I know we got a lot of work ahead of us to do that, but, with the same group coming back this season, if we can play our game and perform, it'll be another great season, hopefully, and a ton of fun while we're doing it. That's the number one thing is, we're out there to have fun and get away from the rest of our lives. And, if we can be successful at the same time, great. But at the end of the day, it's just playing a game that we've all loved and been playing since we were little kids.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the underlying theme that is just going. Like I've talked about it with or a bunch of the guests I've come on here. It's just like we're playing a game that we played throughout childhood. We're kind of reliving it, but this time it's more at a more competitive level, and then we get to play with people who also enjoy it at the same time. So for you, like your guys, and in your perspective, it's just like when the first time when you guys came to the league, did you guys feel like the league came in to you guys with open arms? Like, how do you feel just the way the community has kind of treated you guys being a part of the league now that you guys are now the staple team in the league now? You guys have that target on your back, so to speak. Like, how do you guys feel like that community's kind of helped you guys, translate into this?
Yeah, it's been great. Like you said, our first ever game was against you guys. Early last year, 5 seasons ago now. So, I definitely feel like the league opened us or welcomed us with open arms, and, kind of showed us how to do different things, showed us even how to pitch at sometimes. Those early seasons were a little bit brutal from that end of things for us, but, we were able to get it figured out, and, we got a lot of new teams coming into the league. So, I think it's, important for some of the veteran teams like ourselves and you guys to, welcome them with open arms too, because you never know, maybe 5 seasons from now, we're going to be talking to them about their World Series championship, and it could be their first season right now.
Yeah, that is very true, and we're talking about it right now because obviously, you talked about how we played against you guys the first game and whatnot, and then all of a sudden now you guys are the. I mean, you can even from the get go, you guys were like a playoff contender. So like you guys jumping in all the way through here up until this point, 3 seasons in a row being in the World Series, and now you guys are now at the very top. We've also talked about the Trash Pandas, who we had Will Cantrell on here. His first season, they won a World Series title at the same time. So like they pretty much climbed the top right there. So they're also another team. But like you said, just those new teams that are coming in here, we got to give them open arms and give them that platform to be able to build off of that. And who knows, maybe we'll be talking about another contender here because, I know we talked about other teams in the past and how they've become contenders. So Steven can talk about the long history of this league and the amount of teams that have come through here with their history and all that. And I'm sure that at the same time, like when he came in and when I came in, like we knew all these like big name teams, and then we finally won that World Series in the springtime. It was just like, okay, now we're here. Now we got to. What does it mean for other teams when they walk through those gates every day into the stadium and say, hey, what's up? Like, we're new here, and like how do we play this crazy game you guys play, so to speak? So it's definitely a testament. Yeah. This is gonna kind of go off rails here a little bit though, because I know this is something we kind of have thought about. Steve and I have thought about a few times, but like obviously Michael Haskell and the other guys have baseball backgrounds. You guys are champions. You guys have done baseball. You still do baseball. You guys are in wiffle ball now. Like, is there a time where you guys may be considering like going to some like fast pitch tournaments or like taking this to another step? Because obviously I know you guys like the challenge. Like, is that something you guys are thinking of doing in the future?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that we're open to. We've thrown around the idea a little bit with getting into, some other aspects and tournaments or whatever it may be. So definitely something that, I know the group of us is open to, and, it'll be a different challenge. We've never played fast pitch wiffle ball. We've never played anything but OC wiffle ball altogether from a competitive standpoint, but, it's one of those things that, go into it with an open mindset and see if we can't figure out how to be successful.
Certainly. And I mean, you guys have the talent to do that as well. Like, I know firsthand that in the World Series games that hard hit ball to left field, and all of a sudden this guy catches it with one hand out there, and then you've also got Michael Haskell running like he's in track and field the entire time, and then obviously your guys' pitching is out there. So definitely you guys already have kind of the beginner steps already taken with, and you guys are probably, when you guys walk in there, you're definitely going to be at least at the same level or even higher than some of those guys who are playing at these like high levels. So if you guys ever think about it, Steven's around if you guys want to try it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we got a lot that's kicking up here soon in the summertime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it's it'll be an interesting challenge, and I think it'll be a cool one if we end up doing it as a team. But like you said, I think our biggest focus these last couple of years has been on OC wiffle ball and getting that World Series, and now it's how can we build on it, and not only in this league and in OC wiffle ball, but see if we can't find some other challenges that we can take on too.
Absolutely. Always looking for that next step. Well, I mean, I'm kind of out of questions here. I feel like we got a lot of details. I'll throw it back to Steven if he's got anything else.
Are you still flabbergasted on the on the age, or?
I didn't think that was gonna happen today, but I guess here we are. Yeah, I didn't. And still kind of like trying to, in my head, I'm just like, what? This is crazy.
Yeah. One thing for you, I got the easiest birthday ever to remember. So it's July 4th, 2000. So you always know the year,
nice.
You always know the day. So,
Independence Day, nice.
It makes it easy to count. That's probably the only reason my family remembers my birthday at some points, because they're like, oh, today's July 4th. It's actually something else too. But
yeah, it all works. They just start celebrating July 4th, and it just works into your birthday as well.
Yeah, it helps me too because I forget how old I am sometimes, so I just count backwards and count the years. So
That makes us feel old as well. You got Justin over here who's 25, and I'm gonna be 25 pretty quick, so making us feel old.
It's
a
kind
great
of
number.
20,
Yep.
yeah, quarter life crisis. You know what I'm saying? Like it's right around,
There
it's
we
right
go.
there, man. I mean, like like me, like I get it all the time. Like people don't think I'm 25. Like I think Steven the same thing too. Like I don't think a lot of people think we look like we're 25. Like we look like our age, so to speak. So like it's definitely
Well, I'm not
interesting.
yet,
Yeah,
so
yeah. Oh, you're not yet. You're 24, but I'm sure some people definitely like say you look a little younger. Good. From my
I'm a
point of
week
view,
away
yeah.
as we're recording, so I'm basically.
Okay, we're almost there.
Hey,
So,
we will all be there sooner or later.
oh, this just got
Yeah.
really sad.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you bring the whole like 4th of July thing, like your birthday's on 4th of July. Like I'm wondering like if there was a point like when you were like really young where you're like thinking like the fireworks are for you and not like for 4th of July or
Absolutely.
something.
Yeah. Absolutely. My brother's born in March. I have a younger brother, but his thing because every year on my birthday I got fireworks. Not for me, of course, but got to see him. So, it was a little tough for him growing up when, March 20th rolls around and he's wondering where the hell the fireworks are. That was a little bit of a tough conversation, saying, "Hey, here's why there's no fireworks in March." But he's well aware now. But we got through it.
That's funny. I like that story. I'm also a March birthday too, so props to him. March birthdays are something else. Again, obviously we appreciate you having you on the show because we've been trying to get you on the show for a long time now, and obviously now this is the perfect time to do it because one, you're an MVP now. Two, you guys have won a World Series, so it seems like all the pieces kind of came together to get you on the show here today, and obviously we're gonna see you guys on Tuesday coming up, and it won't be the last time we see you guys playing each other. And I mean, if it does end up being another World Series appearance against you guys, like I don't know. I guess we gotta go talk to Anthony and see what's going on with the other team. So,
Yeah, it's crazy that it's ended up that way too because it's always. I guess it's always that we're usually 1 and 2 in the standings for the league couple seasons, but it's crazy that we've only played one. But it's been one time first round and then the rest World Series. So we'll see. I mean, fourth time's the charm.
Yeah, well, I mean, third time's the charm. Was the charm for you guys? Obviously, coming. I mean, well, I guess the very first time was the charm as well. But third time of the World Series was a charm for you guys. So, congratulations to you guys. Congratulations on your MVP, and appreciate you having on here. It was, timing worked out. Timing worked out good. It was usually like to get a World Series winner on after they win as much as possible. So, congratulations to you, and we will see what you guys have for this summer season.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on, and just want to quickly give some kudos to the rest of the Trash Pandas on here as well. I know, obviously, Michael Haska, Ryan Swanson, Andrew Swanson, and Malone Wright. They were incredible this year in all of their own ways, and definitely wouldn't have been there in the World Series or winning the World Series without everything they did. So, it's a great group and excited to build on it and hopefully see you guys in the World Series again this year.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, if Beach could figure it out, maybe it would change, but we'll see.
Well, yeah, long season to go forward to. Yeah.
Yeah.
We will see. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on, and I see you on Tuesday.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much, Blake Fitzgerald. Again, appreciate all the guests who are on here today. We have had a plethora of different people, like we try to do with most of the playoff recap episodes, just getting different people on here. And first time for Blake Fitzgerald, and certainly won't be the last time he will be on this podcast. And obviously not the last time we shall see him in the league, because he's going to be here the entire season as well with the Trash Pandas. Like you said, the same group of guys are going to be out there this season, so they have a chance to go back to back if they want to, and they definitely have the talent to do so.
Yeah, I mean, back-to-back is the only thing we've only seen a couple teams in this league do. We saw the Trailer Park Boys do it back in the day. We obviously we just saw the LeCompte do it most recently. So the Trash Pandas do got a good shot at it, I will say that. Are they my preseason pick? If we're talking about that way too early preseason pick, maybe they're not. Well, we'll see.
We will certainly see. Well, that pretty much touches on the entire 2024 season, but obviously one of the things that was announced during that week was also the award winners. We did put some predictions in there for that as well the day before, and the most recent episode on the podcast, and apparently,
unlike the World Series, in which we actually haven't addressed yet. So you, Justin Lee, you got the Purple League correct. You got Division 2 correct. No, you chose Avocabros. Sorry, you did not get Division 2 correct.
No.
You got Division 1 correct. So you were 2 for 3. Meanwhile, I chose Pancake Batters. I was wrong. I chose Avocabros. I was wrong. And I thought I was going to pull off a miracle, and the LC were going to win. But alas, I was wrong. So for the first time, I get a D1 World Series wrong. I mean, in my mind, it was hard to bet against myself and my team, but that's the way the cookie crumbled, and you win this round.
Yeah, I'm glad to at least get something. Are you proud of
yourself?
It's kind of difficult to get awards in this league for me, apparently. So, not much I can do about that. Like you said with Blake, just every once in a while you gotta make the Make-A-Wish kid a little happy. Anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so going back to the award stuff, obviously those are the people we predicted last week. I believe Steven was actually pretty spot on in terms of who the award winners would be.
Yeah, this one I was 100% on.
Okay, so there we go. Well, if you watched the last episode, then you exactly know who we're talking about. But it's also been posted on the OSU Football Instagram as well, so most people kind of already know exactly. But just kind of recapping who we have here, we'll kind of go down. I mean, obviously the MVP was Blake Fitzgerald. We just had him on the show. We talked about it plenty of times, just how big of importance that is for his team. And Trash Panda's definitely got a plethora of awards here, and kind of deserving so of just how their season pretty much went this entire year.
Yeah. I mean, you go 13-1. I mean, you're usually in there for a couple awards, and things like that. So, not surprising there at all. But I mean, as we just mentioned with Blake, he was the MVP. He was the MVP winner for the Orange League. I believe you predicted James Lee was going to win the MVP. You had Blake winning another award, which we'll get onto much later. But yeah, I mean, we'll start at the best for last, and Blake Fitzgerald did end up winning the MVP. I deserve based off his pitching numbers, his hitting numbers, and how his team did. So congratulations to him.
Yeah, and we had him on the show just now, so kind of fitting just to have the MVP and the World Series winner on there as well. But starting off with the Purple League, we got the MVP guys on there. Benefit of the doubt, Tyler Moore is the guy who got this award. We kind of talked to Will about that in particular, and just that little camaraderie they have with each other, and just obviously Will won it last season, and now Tyler's the teammate there, and that's kind of the award that they got. But you got this one spot on as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at those numbers, I mean, he had a good season last season, but I didn't see any Purple League awards he was going to be able to win. I mean, Orange League awards he was going to be able to win, so I think Male Player of the Year was a good fit for him. I know he's been trying to change that trophy to not say purple, but it's too late. You can't do that.
Yeah, can't scratch that one off, buddy. But yeah, so congrats Tyler Moore on getting Purple League MVP. Rookie of the Year is an interesting case because obviously our team, we have a rookie in Tommy Hernandez, but he had some really good numbers this season. So he's kind of a different special case. But here in this case, Dylan Penning-Soro came in here, got this award for Rookie of the Year. I mean, it was pretty much just all down to one team who would be pretty much getting this award. So pretty much all the guys in Pitches Gone Wild would have been the candidates here for Rookie of the Year. But also kind of nailing it on the spot is Dylan Penning-Soro.
Yeah, I mean, despite them not having the record, one, there weren't a whole lot of rookies in the league this year, and two, he did have some good numbers. I believe he had over a 300 average. Pitching numbers we don't know for that team, but overall was a relatively good. It was he was not doing bad out there, is what I'll say.
Yeah, definitely wasn't doing that bad either. But unfortunately, it doesn't. Doesn't seem like they're going to be back this season. It's they're not on the summer schedule here or whatnot. So definitely unfortunate that they're not around anymore. But obviously they got away with something, a little award there, and obviously, the season didn't go the way that they wanted to, but that's just it becomes an adjustment, especially with the situation that we have with the league this spring, meshing the Division 1, Division 2 together. Like we used to do that in the past, but there's a reason why we do the Division 1, Division 2 stuff. But good to see that system is now back in order. But going forward here with the relief pitcher of the year, this was a personal favorite of mine. Obviously, you picked this one as well. But David Quiroz is our guy here with the relief pitcher of the year. Had a fantastic season, kind of stepped up in that aspect. He's been working on this for a very long time, and it's nice to see that his hard work is starting to pay off here.
Yeah, I mean, it was especially through the first 10 games or so. David Quiroz is a big reason why this team had so much success. At one point, they were 7-2. Ethan Lee did not pitch much at all. He stepped down. He was not able to find it. And in the past, where David Quiroz would have to come in tough situations to relieve Ethan, the thought process was, let's put him in there and start him right away and see what he's got. And he had some great numbers in there. The numbers inflated a little bit at the end. I believe he sat somewhere around 5.50 ERA or something like that. But as that second pitcher, he was big for the OC Wiffles of LA. Being able to lead them to the 4th seed and to the 2 seeds for much of the year. So, to me, this one felt like a slam dunk, and congratulations to him.
Certainly, yeah. It must be really nice to at least have something to commemorate the amount of hard work that he puts into this. He's always practicing on the side before every game. He's got his own zone, working out with Evan on the sidelines, just trying to get that thing down. So, really great for him there for sure. And yeah. Moving forward now, we got Manager of the Year. We kind of talked about this one a little bit on just who would be able to get these ones. There's a couple of candidates, but ultimately Nick Tone gets the Manager of the Year award here. Obviously had the record in terms of number of walks this season, but had to kind of work with a lot here. Especially, we talked about that two-team playoff team that they had to face off in the playoffs. So, that's just another thing as well.
Yeah, it is. He's switching over. He played with Anthony's team the previous 2 seasons. Switched over to the OC Juicers, and kind of let them out and with the scorebook and things like that. I think I said in the podcast, Manager is a little hard to predict. I believe I said it was either going to be me or it was going to be Nicholas Tone. I think either one of them would have been fine. I've already won one, so give it to someone who hasn't won it before, and it's kind of weird. The reward for getting the Manager of the Year is you get a discount for the next season. However, going into this, I think a lot of us knew he wasn't going to be back for the next season. So it's a little funny to see that, but tough luck, Nick. Get better. Come back.
Hopefully he will be.
The Manager of the Year is a custom discount on captain's membership for next season, but you can't use it if you don't come back.
Yeah, maybe he could have given that to somebody else potentially, but I don't know if that rule applies. But could he use it? Maybe. Oh, okay.
Man, I got this ticket to pay. I'm trying to save some money.
Yeah, it's been a lot. Anyways, moving on though, we have the Silver Slugger here, and kind kind of a no-brainer here, and obviously the guy who led the season in regular season home runs is our man Tommy Hernandez, rookie this season. Kind of came to the league unexpectedly and kind of took it by storm. Really, coming out here with a big bat, smooth swing, lefty hitter. Kind of was the reason why we were able to get through all the way to the World Series for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, and also see we're looking for a replacement to try to fill the holes of a guy like Jordan Dressler and Dustin Staggs. He did the part, especially offensively. Pitching part is still work in process, but offensively, he had a great first season. I know him as a guy who can have some great offense, some baseball player currently, things like that. So I wasn't expecting this many home runs. We had a 500 average as well in the season, so very proud of him overall. I think there's very deserving.
It certainly is very deserving, and obviously more to come this upcoming summer season when we make the return here on Tuesday. But moving on now.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get him on for the future.
That is true. Yeah, we will eventually get him on here because we need to do that because he's a very integral part of what we do here and definitely wants to get more involved with the podcast in general as well. So
yeah,
look forward to that. Anyways, like I was saying, moving forward to the Hank Aaron Award now, the overall best offensive player in the league, and this was also kind of a no-brainer as well. And Michael Haskell, who finished second in regular season home runs, but was basically one of the best hitters in the entire league, took a step up this season from last season and really took the league by storm for the most part here. So not a big surprise that Michael Haskell was our guy here for the Hank Aaron Award.
Yeah, I mean, he had some decent numbers in the past, but this season it really turned around in a good way for him. Led the league in average, had a 5.18 average, if I'm not mistaken. He has one of the higher on base percentages in the league. Unfortunately, you have some guys ahead of him, like Nicholas Tone, who just walks 49% of the time. So, but overall, Michael Haskell was in that home run lead for a while as well. Some talks about it, possibly him and Tommy for MVP. But I think both these guys are in a deserved spots for how their season went and their impact on the team, given the fact that they don't pitch as much or don't quite have the pitching numbers as a guy like Blake Fitzgerald does.
Yeah, and that was kind of the reason why that MVP conversation even started. Usually we talked about it with your cases as well with the MVP. Is just like, you may not be the best hitter, may not be the best pitcher, but like if you're overall wise, like one of the most dominant people in the league, then you kind of deserve that MVP award in that sense, combining the two little pieces there together in a way. So that's kind of
whoa, what you trying to say about me?
I'm just saying, man. Like, I mean, there was a clear cut.
Are you saying I'm not the best hitter or pitcher? Grr.
Yeah, grr. Do
grr.
it.
Wow.
I'm just trying to get back at you
I'm
for the
so angry. I love that clip.
I don't want to use my head though. Okay, anyways, moving on to our final award here, but usually we finish off with the MVP, but we've already talked about him a lot. But Cy Young Award winner was a guy who, former teammate, kind of leader of the Trash Pandas in the pitching department, had some really good numbers like he did a season before back. What?
You said Trash Pandas.
Did I say Trash Pandas? Wow, I guess I'm really tired.
You did.
Sorry, Beach City Bombers.
Is Jordan moving again?
Yeah, he probably is.
He's moving again. God damn it.
Secret, breaking out news. Sorry, I was supposed to keep that one a secret. No, I'm just kidding. He already played a game with the Bombers already, so he's already locked in with the Beach City Bombers. So that news is not relevant.
Played 2 games actually.
Yeah, that's true. 2 games. But here we go. Cy Young Award winner Jordan Drexler, once again having himself a really nice season on the pitching side, bouncing off of the last couple of seasons that he's had.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, his hitting numbers were still good, but not quite what they were the previous season. His pitching numbers were pretty similar to his previous season as well, except just adding on a few more innings here. I believe he had a slightly lower ERA with slightly more innings pitched. So overall, another good pitching season. Unfortunately, we did see him get knocked up a little bit in the playoffs, but these are regular season awards, and he was a great regular season pitcher. Maybe not the best one, but I think that's why you put him. You did not put Jordan actually for the Cy Young. You put Blake Fitzgerald, but as correctly predicted by moi, Jordan Drexler wins the Cy Young here.
The thought process there was like I was thinking James was going to get the MVP, and then if Blake didn't get the MVP, he might as well just get the Cy Young award because he also was really good on the pitching side.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the reasoning there. But
it's okay. It's okay, Jordan. Justin just didn't want you to win anything.
Jordan, I love you. Let's go get a beer together eventually when you come back for the summer. So
let's see if you remember how to play the SoCal speed and fast pitch speed.
That's true. Which reminds me,
we
gotta start practicing that stuff again. But that's a whole another story.
Give me a couple weeks.
Yeah,
let me wait till baseball season's over.
Yeah, that's right. Everyone's kind of finishing up baseball stuff right now. Obviously, I'm not part of baseball, so I don't have that dilemma. But I got school finishing up, so gonna be gowning up here pretty soon. In less than a month, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can we buy some tickets and just send everyone from OC Football out there?
That'd be nuts if you guys could get the entire league to come out. That would be funny as hell.
Should we do like a first ever that Scuffed Up podcast giveaway? We're just giving away tickets to your graduation.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. I can imagine somebody holding up a poster that says, "The Make-A-Wish kid did it." No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, someone's gonna steal that poster from Tustin Sports Park and just bring it.
That'd be even more hilarious. And then everyone's like,
that would be.
It has a QR code on there too, so people who show up at the commencement can scan the QR code and go join the league or something.
Exactly. There you go.
We're thinking ahead here. We're helping the marketing department here. It's great.
We're trying.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that pretty much does it for this spring 2024 season. That kind of wraps it up for everything. Obviously, it was a very long season. We kind of recapped what our teams kind of looked like and how everyone pretty much did. Great to have another season wrapped up in the books. And obviously, we're looking forward immediately to the summer 2024 season already, man.
Yeah, that we are. Congratulations to these two previous what's it called? The two previous back-to-back winners now, and then congratulations to the first-time winners in the Trash Pandas. So good to see some old faces and some new faces in there. Even if it's at the expense of us. I mean, if it wasn't going to be us, I was very happy with the Trash Pandas winning it overall. I mean, like I said, I told him back in the day after the Fall World Series, I was like, yeah, you guys are not far away from being able to get one. And lo and behold, here they are. I mean, even if they had to beat us, it was a great series, and congratulations to all those teams.
Yes, indeed, and a lot of those teams kind of returning back this season, and we'll see how the summer season pretty much goes. But that kind of leads us to our next point here on this podcast, because we are kind of changing things up for the future here on That Scuffed Up. Steven and I have been kind of talking about throwing some new ideas out there and just changing the direction of what we do here on the show, because obviously we've been doing this for a long time. 46 episodes, man. We've almost made it to 53 episodes. If you were to put an episode every week up until 53, we'd be basically putting out an episode for an entire year's worth in terms of just how that works. Yeah.
That's why they gave you the cap and gown, right?
There we go.
You figured that part out.
Yeah. So we've almost hit that year mark of just in terms of how many episodes we put out here. But we wanted to kind of switch up the way, because obviously the bigger picture here is just the fact that we wanted this podcast to be about wiffle ball in general, and just how what's going on in the world of wiffle ball, because there is a lot of stuff that's happening out there, and especially around this time of the year where the summer tournaments are starting to kick up. That's a big deal for the both of us, because you're going to be playing with teams. You've also got a team with a couple of us on here from OC Wiffle Ball. We're also trying to encourage other teams out there. And we also talked with Will earlier about having some of his guys with Tyler and Charlie being out there for this upcoming summer tournament at SoCal. And then obviously the Hoffman brothers are still around too, so that they'll probably be out there eventually as well. And so I think what we're trying to do is kind of simmer down the OC Wiffle Ball talk stuff in general, and just kind of touch on it when it's necessary, instead of just talking about the week in, week out stuff all the time, and talking about the which team scored this runs or whatever. But I think we'll still talk about OC Whiff, but just in a more generalistic way. Like for example, some of the ideas we've been talking about, just discussing like the new teams that are coming in here, giving a preview what the summer season will look like, maybe who's going to be the contenders going into this, doing the same stuff that we usually do, is like the mid-season award winners, pre-playoff check-ins, mid-season predictions and awards, like we just mentioned, and also covering a lot of the like special series, like the San Series, the San Diego Series, the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby, like we always do, and then always doing like the playoff predictions and the award winners. I think that's something we can still keep holding on to, because obviously those are the important things about the league. But giving more time to other things, like for example, next weekend we're probably going to be touching on the MLW draft and just kind of how that went, because that's a big storyline that's happening on the other side of the world, because MLW is a big deal now, and just the way they've kind of grown themselves. And obviously SoCal Wiffle Ball, they're wrapping up their playoffs right now. Those videos are starting to come out soon, and now we've also got, like you said, they're going to upload videos from like the previous few tournaments that they've had over the summer, like the previous summer. And then also the draft is also another big deal for a lot of the players that are on teams in OC Wiffle Ball, and then obviously for some of us. And so I think those are things that we can definitely cover. And the UWIF stuff is also a big thing as well. And then I think we'd love to have more guest on the show and serve more time with that, rather than focusing on OC Wiffle Ball a lot. But those are just some of the ideas and what you guys will be seeing in the future of that Scuffed Up podcast here.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to expand a little bit more and go into different horizons, possibly look to SoCal Wiffle Ball to possibly have them like sponsor us a bit as well. Talk about some of their stuff. They World Series just went out on Sunday. The first two games just went out. Two very good games, actually. You can see Justin Lee in the background a little bit during the video, in case you haven't watched it, Justin, in your LeCompte jersey. So you can see me a lot of times. I mean, I'm running a lot of those, a few of those series here and there when needed, but I mean, me and Dustin have been working very close since for about the past like 8 months or so. It's been more of a growing relationship between the two of us in terms of wiffle ball stuff and things like that. So look for more of that here. We'll talk about like Mid Atlantic Wiffle Ball, MAW. You got SoCal sending out a team out there, things like that. You got a lot of different stuff you can go on here. We're not a specific OC Wiffle Ball podcast. We're a podcast in general. I mean, our name's not OC Wiffle Ball Podcast. We're the That Scuffed Up Podcast, which can talk about a lot of different stuff and things like that. And sometimes the process of talking about OC Wiffle Ball, just the games each week, in which we don't really know a whole lot about the games, can get a little monotonous and can get a little boring at times. So we're able to talk about different stuff and try to bring in different audiences to talk about different things. So hopefully be a good thing for the future, and possibly bring in other guests from other outside sources and things like that. I'm sure we're gonna have Tommy Hernandez talk with our teammate, talk to us about some stuff on here relating to OC or SoCal or Fast Pitch, because he's in the process of trying to get drafted into SoCal Wiffle Ball, as is Justin. We'll see if that happens or not, but overall, just looking to try to maybe not make it as schedule-wise, maybe not make it as consistent, but prioritizing a good episode over just basically prioritizing quality over quantity.
Yeah, and I think it's a good direction to go in, because we do this almost week in and week out a big chunk of the time, and obviously we're both busy. You have baseball, you got school, I've got school as well, and try to do the commentating stuff. So it definitely is a lot sometimes, and especially this episode. This is going to be a heck of a long episode. Like if you're watching up to this point,
yeah.
So props to you for watching this far. If you've gotten this far,
yeah. If you've watched this whole thing, like. You deserve a trophy or something, or a cookie or something like that.
Yeah, Steven unfortunately can't give you one of his trophies because it doesn't say like longest podcast watcher in history, but we can certainly give you the pat on the back there if you'd like for watching.
Yeah, I can try to rebrand this trophy over here. I can just change the title a little bit and see.
No,
what
you're not
here.
gonna give that thing away. Come on.
Hell no.
There you go. See,
I mean, this trophy is worth about like $20, but I won $250 while getting this trophy, so I like it.
technically, yeah, it technically is worth something if you get $250 with the trophy. So, there's some value.
I tried backing up my performance with that home run derby. We already talked about it. It was a battle between me and Tommy Hernandez. We talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of just a little bit of a new direction with some certain stuff. We're also getting to the end of our school semesters and things like that. I know I've got about a week left. Justin's got about like 2-3 weeks left ish or so. So I'm about to finish up. I might be heading to Arizona pretty soon. There's certain stuff where there have been some personal stuff between us that had kind of been caused by how much the podcast was essentially affecting us trying to get it out each week and things like that. So we'll let the follow the Hunky Dory Sports Show Instagram online. You can kind of get a gist of when. Hopefully we'll start posting on that more soon because we don't have access to that, so that's all Justin. But hopefully we'll start posting more stuff, kind of like giving you a preview, like when you're going to see a podcast and things like that.
Yeah, I think that's something
Maybe that might be a good idea. Kind of help promote it a little more.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good thing to do, and then I should probably get you on there as well to help out with that, because I know you're also involved with the SoCal Wiffle stuff, so you're kind of in the flux with all the news and whatnot. So
yeah, given the fact I've made about 95% of those the SoCal Wiffle posts in the past 6 months, I'm pretty involved with Instagram, and I've got my way to be able to make some better graphics now and things like that. I can edit videos a little bit, but not live. I need to get some better editing software because I just use the free one that Microsoft gives to you.
Yeah, we know that.
Shout out Microsoft Clipchamp. Shout out to you.
Yeah, the music selection on here has been kind of pristine.
Oh, it's top tier. Oh, those intros and outros are fire.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
You might see that some more. You might see
insane.
that. There might be some more times where you have to do that because there's going to be some weeks where I won't be here because I'm going to be in Japan for a couple of weeks when that happens. So actually, there could be another situation where we might have a special guest in replacement of me if that ends up happening. So we got an interesting future with the direction of this podcast, and obviously, like we said, we always appreciate everyone's able to tune in here and watch these episodes week in and week out, and obviously, if you've watched this episode up until this point, props to you because you're crazy to be able to watch this up to this point.
Or just this part as well. I mean, maybe we'll try to get some bookmarks or some markers in here to kind of separate out when it's happening and what and things like that, so we can kind of get a gauge of who's seeing at one point, who's seeing all this and stuff like that. And if you ever got any suggestions or anything like that you want to see us talk about, then just let us know and let us know in person or over the phone, things like that.
Yes, indeed. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going to be happening. We'll see if we can try to knock out one next week or whenever in terms of what we're going to try to do. And you'll see kind of a different way we do things here on the show coming up here soon. So, but yeah, I think that pretty much kind of does it for this episode 46, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think we're about done here. That puts a wrap on the spring season. Summer season for OC Wiffle Ball, SoCal Wiffle Ball, all types of wiffle ball. It's getting hot. It's getting started. We're just here, ready to go, ready to play.
Yes, sir. We're ready to go right into the summertime, summer sun. Reaching out here and obviously keep up with all the news that is happening in the league with OC Wiffle Ball Instagram because they always post stuff about what's happening. Obviously, the website has pretty much everything for your information, so definitely keep a track on that. But for us here at That Scuffed Up, we appreciate you and thank you as always. And we shall see you guys very soon in episode 47 when that comes out. And make sure you follow the Hunky Dory Sports Show Instagram for more of those news and updates on what's going to be happening here in the future. But myself, Justin Lee, Stephen Hayden over there on the other side. And we shall see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for joining us here on episode 47. Take care and have a good one.
Or if you don't want to come back, that's fine.